The truth is, you're as dumb as they come.
Huh?
Evil can never be dead enough. Come on, man. What's wrong with you? Did you hear what I said? And some of you make shit up.
Good evening, freaks. What the hell's going on out there, huh? How's it going? Yeah, it was funny. I made a video today, and it's kind of hard to explain, but I edited the whole video. I do this thing where I'm talking. Let's say I'm talking, and I go like, it's just a way to, like if you want to re-say something, so I'll be going. Yeah, so today I was walking down the street. I was walking down this, and then I'll go. I was walking down the hallway or something. I'll change it. And at the end, I go through and I just listen to when I clap or something, and I just take that part out. But so I had done that, but then there was audio that was screwed up in the video. So then I took the raw file that's underneath, when you're editing it, and then I saved it back. I re-saved it out, and then back over the top, and then it sort of shifted everything over. So all it was, you could hear me doing the little clapping. I just go, oh, screw this. I figured out what the hell was the problem. So I deleted the first one, but then I put a second video out there. Yeah, a little inside baseball, When you're making videos, it's different than when you're live, because you can't really just sit there and pause and think. You gotta quickly talk or people get the hell out of there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that was pretty good. Yeah, I was going to show you guys something. PK Sews It Up sent me something after the show yesterday. Remember we were looking up the term, we were looking at that perished. So I don't know, for some reason she typed in something kind of, I guess you can't see it on the screen that I'm using. This one right here. And it said, who would most likely use the word perished instead of died? And it says, people use perished instead of died to emphasize that a death was violent, sudden, or caused by harsh conditions. Shipwreck or extreme cold. News reporters, historians, and legal officials most frequently use this word to provide objective, serious accounts of tragedies. The specific groups most likely to use perished include journalists and news broadcasters. Reporters use it to maintain formal distance when reporting on mass casualties or disasters. 5 individuals perished in the warehouse fire. That's kind of interesting, right? Historians and novelists. So that's sort of, it's interesting because it sort of validates what we were thinking about them, it being sort of a higher level, speaking. Writers use the word for literary flair or to describe tragic, untimely deaths, particularly in historical or war context. Religious or spiritual leaders. Clergy often use parish to discuss the spiritual consequences of sin or to describe those who die outside of faith. So I guess if you, aren't somebody who's saved, you perish. Which, I'd actually, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you guys this right here. If there's a God out there, just because you didn't do, let's say you're a really good person, and you were treated everybody great on the planet, every day of your life you did something good, and then just because you didn't believe in his son or something, he puts you in hell, then that's not a God I'd want to be somebody to worship, I'm just telling you, that's ridiculous, okay? All right, so anyways, so I think that's a bullshit thing when people say that. if you don't believe that his son died, okay, then you're going to hell. Really? So you're a great person on the planet, and he's going to send you to hell? Who the hell would want to worship a God like that? And then you're going to send a serial killer on his deathbed who says, "Oh, I believe in that Jesus is my savior," and then he gets saved? Screw that, man. There's no way in hell I would support a God like that. Okay, it's ridiculous. All right. Anyways, that's just the truth. If you can say whatever the hell you want, but that's just the most sort of selfish, ridiculous thing I've ever. It's like, I think it's almost was put in there so that people would sort of have this fear. It's like, what's the point of that? I mean, okay, so Gandhi went to hell because he was such a bad person, but then Bundy gets to go to heaven because that's right at the end. Yeah, give me a break. All right, let's see. It says, while died focuses simply on the state of ceasing to live, perished emphasizes the process of suffering or the violent circumstances surrounding the event. I don't know about that. But anyways, it's pretty interesting up here that you have like these journalists and news broadcasters, etc. Well, let's just pretend he was, Lisa. You know what I'm saying. So right at the end, you could walk in and go, "Hey, I believe he accepts Jesus right at the he really did, and he just murdered all those people. He gets to go to heaven." And then somebody else who didn't believe in that, but went around the planet helping people every single day and was a good person, they go to hell? Wow, that's really strange, Really strange. Why would you want to be anywhere around anybody that thought like that? I mean, that's just wild, Just logic, reason, and common sense. Hey, what is it? See, hey, what was it? Yeah. Right. And it's weird, too, because it offends people who believe in that. But it's like, to me, it's just totally illogical, It doesn't matter. What if he really, truly believed it, Juju Bean? So you don't have to say with respect, okay? You don't need to put that in there. Okay, just think logically about it. That's why people don't talk about religion, because it's so ridiculous, some of the stuff that people are so hard-nosed on, It's just like, it's ridiculous. I mean, I'm just telling, what if Bundy, let me just ask you this hypothetical question then. Bundy killed all those people, and let's say he truly believed in his heart. Let's say that's a fact, that he truly believed in his heart. He gets to go to heaven? That's insane. He just killed all those people. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's crazy. And then there's this other person like Gandhi went to hell. Yeah. The guy that was all about peace his whole life, he went to hell. See, those are the kind of things that I don't like. I think it's great that people can believe in things and, talk to God and believe in Jesus and all that kind of stuff. But to go that extra mile at the end, it's almost like you're trying to guilt people into staying around, believing and staying around and not, so they don't leave or something. It's crazy to me. I don't know, man. Let's see. Hey, thanks, Timothy Cecil. Logic, reason, and common sense, Karen, and Wild Bill Wassman. But I think it's great. Anybody can believe in whatever they want to believe in. I just think it's weird when we... Hasn't that been something that's bothered any of you guys during your life? That you go to hell just because you didn't believe something, but you were a good person? Doesn't that bother you a little bit? No guilt. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I think like religion's really important because it kind of keeps people a little bit more grounded in things. You got a lot of people out there that are nuts. They just don't. If there's no religion and there's nothing to sort of have as a backdrop, why people should just be like it'd be an anarchy. People running around doing crazy things. Anyways, I've said that before on here, by the way, years ago, like many times over the years. It's not like something new. Let's see, because so many people on the planet, right? Like, let's say you were born in a cave, and you never were able to leave the cave, and then you died of like a bunch of rocks fell on your head. And by the way, what about when I guess cavemen are exempt, but let's say somebody after 2,000 years ago or 2,026 years ago, let's say somebody they died in a cave and they never really got out to the world. They go to hell because I don't get it. I don't know what that means. I don't know what a Calvinist is. We covered the president's speech a little later out. What do you mean? Oh yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, we don't really do. You're not supposed to talk about politics or religion. I'm not sure what. Oh yeah, it came up because of this perished word here, based on what it said in there. So it made me think of that. I know he's giving a speech. Yeah. But his speeches are hours and hours long. And I guess, well, what time is his speech at? What time's his speech? Is it going to be at the WhiteHouse.gov or something? Or I can't play like Fox News or something. Let's see. I'm just going to go over there. Oh yeah, it looks like it's live over there. So I guess I can put this over here, and I guess if you guys really want to, we can do that. All right. Yeah, it's playing over here. So I guess when it starts, it's on the White House website. So if you guys want me to do that, I can do that. But don't forget to help support the channel tonight, you guys. My video did bad again right out of the gate, and here we are, just sitting here, languishing through the show. So, on my channel, so I guess what's weird is the trolls out there. They always say certain things like, "I'm telling people I'm a charity." Does anybody in here ever heard me say, "I am a charity, send me money"? What I've said in here is, please help support the channel. And then, at the end of the month, I take a large portion of the income that comes into the channel because of your support for the channel, and I send it in to true crime-related charities, and sometimes some charities not quite in the true crime. We send it to Tunnel to Towers and stuff like that. All right? That's what we do. So it's weird when you get these stupid trolls. They're so ignorant. They don't even understand. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Okay. Yeah, he's going to out-talk me. And I say with respect so that you don't think I don't know what that means. No, the charities are not people. I don't know what that means. Yeah. Yeah, like when you're supporting my channel, I've never said on here, send me money tonight for Texas EquiSearch. I've never done that. We've had nights where we did like a thing where we said, like let's send, if you guys send in 500 or 300, I'll send in 500 to a charity. See, that's like totally different because it's coming from me. But if you send 300 to support my channel, then I'll send 500 to the charity. You see what I'm saying? It's just so weird how people don't. I literally explain it like on every show, and these dipshit trolls whose brains are the size of a walnut just don't get it, man. And it's crazy. So I'll ask again in here, you guys, if you could please help support the channel tonight. I'd really appreciate it. My channel relies on the generosity of the people watching. And then hopefully if we bring in enough money to survive and then some, we send money into various true crime related charities. All right, because right now we're already in a lull just right out of the gate. Yeah, that's just what they do. Yeah. What do you mean I sound like you? Anyways, thanks, PK Sews It Up. I thought that was pretty interesting. Like, you know, reporters, broadcasters, you know, hey, it's a YouTuber who wanted to create the event to... Yeah, right. Oh boy, we're already dead as a doornail. Nobody's chatting. We're stuck at 117. Just, yeah. All right, so here's something I think would be interesting. I want to do a point by point, like, you know, every element that points to this being a kidnapping for ransom, and you know, specific, you know, just kidnapping or, you know, kidnapping for ransom. And so I you know, like, I guess one of the first elements you would say that actually point to that is that Nancy Guthrie. So I'll just put it right over here. Nancy Guthrie. Nancy was the target, and her be, you know, like the target of the, I guess, porch guy. You know, I guess you have to put that there. That's why they were there. Okay. And then I guess, you know, the backing up information would be the, let's see. Now, nothing was stolen. The front camera was removed. The front door camera was removed. And then, like, see the, let's see. The camera was removed, and then a vehicle, you know, like, vehicle targeted. A vehicle was, well, like, right here I'd say, like, blood, or expirated blood outside the front door, and then a vehicle was moved, where, you know, where the camera would have seen or something. You know, we all know where that means. I know what it means. Hey, thanks, Karen, and thanks, Wild Bill Wassman, and 6 Kids UK, and Alley Cake up there. Thank you, guys. All right, so I think everybody agrees that she was the target. I mean, I think even the conspiracy nutters out there, they believe that Nancy was the target. The only reason that they were at that house was to remove Nancy Guthrie. The only thing stolen from the house was Nancy Guthrie. Okay? I'm going to say, except Nancy herself, which is a abduction. All right, so like those are all those things right there. And then after that, and then I guess what are the other things? You know, I mean, does the walkie-talkie... see, the walkie-talkie doesn't itself indicate ransom, or I mean a kidnapping. Okay? It just means that there might have been more than one person. I'm just talking about what are the things, like what do you guys think are like other elements? I think that the ransom note that was received, so I would put like, you know, ransom note. I always put an E at the end of that, like handsome. You know, it's weird. You know, ransom, handsome. Yeah. I don't even know if handsome has an E at the end now. My brain's just... All right, so ransom. Yeah, it's just God, man, I didn't even spell it right up there either. Jeez. Ransom note received by KOLD and another local station, you know, after 5 p.m. I mean, I heard Ashley say 6:48. I don't know where she got that from. But after 5 p.m. on February 2nd. All right. And then, see, this is interesting if you think about it. So the first ransom note said stuff like, you know, hello, Savannah. You know, we have Nancy, however they worded it. And then they talked about how much money they needed to send in, at what time. But great! Candace Owens said Savannah's story is off. Isn't that amazing? What story isn't off to Candace the dipshit Owens? I mean, she's turned into a moron who's well-spoken. Isn't that scary? I'll tell you what, there isn't anything scarier in the world than a moron that's well-spoken. Wow. How is that a possibility? It's almost like they're AI, you know? It's really, really strange. But thank you, Dan. Yeah, story is off, and she's going to get to the bottom of it. Oh, she's switching over to that too now? God, what a loser. All right. They haven't spoken yet, though. I mean, I see something going on up here. How come there's no audio on that? Is this... Hold on a second. Hold on. Uh-oh. Oh, I gotta fix... My mic was on the wrong. How about now? It's weird. I can't hear audio on YouTube. Remember that? We had that the other night. I don't know what it was. Let me see. Come on.
And then a good save.
Oh, okay, so the audio is working. There was just no audio yet on... okay. Okay, well, there's no audio coming from that White House thing. So I don't know. Well, I guess we'll have to wait. The feed. All right, so the ransom note received by KOLD and another local station after 5 p.m. on February 2nd. So that is evidence of a ransom. In fact, that's why they're investigating it as a ransom, right? So let's take a look at, now that we know that, check this out. So they got that on the 2nd.
On behalf of our
TMZ got it on the 3rd. And then on the 4th, we have this.
And clever. On behalf of our family, we want to thank all of you for the prayers for our beloved mom, Nancy. We feel them, and we continue to believe that she feels them too. Our mom is a kind, faithful, loyal, fiercely loving woman of goodness and light. She's funny, spunky, and clever. She has grandchildren that adore her and crowd around her and cover her with kisses. She loves fun and adventure.
American farms,
she is a devoted
we
friend.
saved the world from
she
fascism.
is full of kindness and knowledge. Talk to her and you'll see.
See, this is interesting because this is after they're talking to them, because that ransom note that came in that said, we have her, and they're actually literally speaking to him saying, hey, talk to her, you'll see. Isn't it kind of weird when you look back now and see these in the order? Watch.
The light is missing from our lives.
Yeah, this is after the ransom note. This is the 4th, okay? So there was a ransom note on the 2nd and the 5th. So this is what I've been telling you guys. This message here, and then another one, I believe the brother put out, is the one that the second ransom note that was put out on the 5th was responding to. They felt something because of it.
Nancy is our mother. We are her children. She is our beacon. She holds fast to joy in all of life's circumstances. She chooses joy day after day, despite having already passed through great trials of pain and grief. We are always going to be merely human, just normal human people who need our mom. Mama, if you're listening, we need you to come home. We miss you.
Our mom is our heart and our home. She is 84 years old. Her health, her heart is fragile. She lives in constant pain. She is without any medicine. She needs it to survive. She needs it not to suffer. We too have heard the reports about a ransom letter in the media. As a family, we are doing everything that we can.
Yeah, so she says, we heard reports of a ransom letter in the media. What they're really doing is letting the ransom person know that they've read it. They've seen it.
We are ready to talk. However, we live in a world where voices and images are easily manipulated.
Ah, see? So they're saying we're going to need to have proof here. They might not have said AI, but that's what I took from that.
We need to know, without a doubt, that she is alive and that you have her.
God, that's crazy. I haven't listened to this since way back then, but now you listen to it knowing. So I actually think that this message here was the impetus for the one that they sent out on the 5th. The second, quote, ransom note that wasn't a ransom. Isn't that wild? I think that this made them feel bad. They couldn't prove it. She just told them, we need to have proof that she's alive. But she wasn't alive. Right as they're reading this, she's not alive anymore. And she wasn't even alive when they sent out the first ransom note. And so then they realized they're not going to be able to prove it. That the people that abducted Nancy will not be able to prove that she's alive.
We want to hear from you, and we are ready to listen. Please reach out to us. Mommy,
Yeah, and see, this is the fourth, right? So they haven't heard back again. I mean, second and the third, and this is the fourth.
if you are hearing this,
And she's saying, reach out to us again, but we need to have proof.
you are a strong woman. You are God's precious daughter, Nancy.
And they think she's still alive at this time. point.
We believe and know that even in this valley, He is with you. Everyone is looking for you, Mommy, everywhere.
Well, I mean, the thing is if you look at it like this, the ransom note, the second ransom note says she died shortly after. Okay? But the ransom note that the outlets got wasn't sent until the evening of the second. And it was the early morning hours of the first when she was abducted. So you're looking at 40 hours later. And I don't think she was alive. I mean, shortly after isn't 40 hours, right? It's like, 1 to 3 hours later.
We will not rest. Your children will not rest until we are together again.
And in 40 hours, if she was still alive, they would have been able to get some bit of information that proved that she was alive. Like a nickname or something.
We speak to you every moment, and we pray without ceasing, and we rejoice in advance for the day that we hold you in our arms again. We love you, Mom.
Love you, Mom.
We love you, Mom. Stay strong.
We love you, Mom. We love you.
Yeah, so then there's that one.
This is Cameron.
Yeah, and this is, okay, I think that was the next, hold on.
It's spunky.
And then right after that, not right after that, the next day on the 5th. Now, I don't know what time of day this one was.
This is Cameron Guthrie. I'm speaking for the Guthrie family. Whoever is out there holding our mother, we want to hear from you. We haven't heard anything
Yeah, so this is before they got the second one. But it's the same day.
directly. We need you to reach out, and we need a way to communicate with you so we can move forward. But first, we have to know that you have our mom. We want to talk to you, and we are waiting for contact.
Yeah, and see, that just shows you right there that the abductors never had the ability to prove that she was alive. Like she died probably on the way back. I actually think that, the abductors probably, she died that morning even, later in the morning, abducted at 2:30, and she's not even alive at like maybe 6:30. And then they waited until the evening of the 1st, so way late in the evening, maybe at midnight or 1 in the morning on the 2nd, and then drove her somewhere and buried her. Then came home to wherever they live, and then they decided to just do a Hail Mary because they could provide information. Well, in the first one, they already provided information. Well, I mean, that's what we're talking about. So they provided information that only the abductor would know, and they threw that out there. But that's why she's responded, hey, we need proof that she's alive, not just what you sent us. Basically is what she's saying. We need proof that shows that she's alive, not what you sent. Which was just she's about to speak here? Okay. You guys want to watch I mean, it's totally change of topic, but you guys want to do this? But can you guys please help support the channel while we're doing this? I don't want to have another one of these just slogging along where I have to ask 17,000 times to try to make the goals, etc. So if you guys have the ability to help support the channel, it's not required or anything, but it'd be great. Thanks.
And I want to thank you all for being here. This is a big crowd. This is a lovely crowd. And what a sight it is.
Yeah, let's do a poll. I kind of wanted to just keep talking about what I was talking
To thank Senate Majority Leader John Thune, a good friend of mine, and all of us. Senator Mike Rounds, great guy. Governor Larry Roden, thank you, Larry. Lieutenant Governor
here we
Ben
go.
Heisen. Oh, they're good. was waiting for that. They said, you start speaking, they won't interrupt you at all. They didn't interrupt us at all. Thank you. They're fantastic.
So
What
I guess
great,
yes is
incredible,
Trump.
talented pilots. Thank you
That
very
was
much.
a stupid poll. It was a yes or
Secretary Burgum, who's doing a
Hold on, let me do
phenomenal
another.
job. Governor Ron DeSantis, thank you. Governor DeSantis, where's Ron? Thank you, Ron. Distinguished guests and fellow citizens, tonight we gather on the eve of one of the most extraordinary days in the history of the world. Tomorrow we mark 250 years of glorious independence and 250 years of majestic American freedom. Nothing like it. In all the chronicles of the ages, never before has any nation celebrated so magnificent a triumph as this one, the one that we are participating in right now. At 250 years, America is the oldest republic on earth. We are the freest people on earth. We have the most righteous and enduring constitution on earth. We are the strongest and most powerful country on earth. And by the grace of God, the United States of America is the most successful, most accomplished, most exceptional nation ever to exist in human history. And it is great
Maybe it'll be
to be
short.
your president. It is great. For a quarter of
I mean, as you see, we've already lost like 15 people. You guys aren't supporting the channel. And we're just going to get crushed again because you guys want to watch the speech. I don't know what you guys want me to do here.
millennium, liberty, justice, equality, self-government, and unmatched prosperity have flourished here as they have never flourished anywhere before. There is nothing like what we are doing. The birth and
All right, we have a challenge by Timothy Cecil. I guess he's saying a 5 for $5. All right.
survival of the American nation under God is quite simply the best and most incredible thing ever to happen on this planet by human hands ever. That is ever, ever, ever. No other country has done more good for this world than the United States of America. And we give thanks for these extraordinary blessings. We remember that what we have created in this country is not the natural way of the world. It is not the norm. It is the exception. It is rare. It is priceless.
Yeah, tell you what, let's get to the challenge and then we'll keep playing it. All right, because this is what always happens. We start playing these, absolutely gets crushed in the chat. So let's see if we can get to that challenge, all right?
By suffering, poverty, exploitation, violence, and misery. But here in America, in this land, on this continent, we have written a very different story. It's a tale of adventure, liberation, and unmatched greatness. It's the story of people governing themselves, the many uniting as one, the men and women rising by their own skill and talent to go further and reach higher than anyone has ever gone before. There has never been anything like this. The triumph of American independence was the result of the most
I
extreme.
mean, the thing is the title of my video isn't Trump's speech, you guys. I mean, people came here to probably talk about Guthrie, you know? I mean, we can all, I don't know, man. It's just,
Extraordinary people in history, the most extraordinary culture in history,
it's not like it's
and the most
breaking news.
extraordinary ideas in history, all creating the most extraordinary republic ever, ever, ever in history.
That's true, sir.
It all came together for the miracle of July 4th, 1776. That was a big year. 250 years ago tomorrow, what a big day that is. I consider this a big day because I'm with you. I like that too. And by the way, we won big here. We won really big. Each and every time. But 250 years ago tomorrow, the words of our Declaration of Independence sent an earthquake through all of the coming time. They sparked a revolution that has never ended, but still continues to this day. And tonight we come to this beautiful mountain, and it is beautiful, to express our gratitude to those who made it possible, starting with the four men most responsible for reaching this milestone more than any others. We salute the father of our country, George Washington, the author of the Declaration of Independence, Thomas Jefferson, the great emancipator and savior of our union, Abraham Lincoln, and the man who built America into a global superpower, Theodore Roosevelt. These are the men who declared the freedom, won our freedom, and saved our freedom, and secured our freedom. They were men of action, men of ambition, men of daring, men of destiny, and men of truly great intelligence. Above all, they were great men of history. Tonight, on the threshold of our 25th year, we stand beneath the monument of these heroes, a true group of unbelievable people, and we rededicate ourselves to being a nation as big, bold, noble, and as great as these American giants. And that's not easy to do, but we're going to do it. These men could only have been made in the USA. Their faces are engraved on these bluffs, not only because of what they did, but to remind us forever who we are. These heroes.
Yeah, after this is over, we'll go back.
Exemplify what?
We'll still do the, I might be up late, but that's what we're going to do, okay?
Is timeless, enduring, and eternal about the American.
I'm going to move it forward.
Congratulations, everybody.
Get it caught up. You missed something.
The identity of a nation is the destiny of a nation, and America has a. We must remember, we have to remember, we can never forget that American liberty has not endured for 250 years merely because of words on paper. Liberty has prevailed here because of the culture and character of the people who declared it, defended it, and preserved it. These are very, very special times, and this is a very special place. You live in a very special place. Congratulations, everybody.
145 speed.
The identity of a nation is the destiny of a nation, and America has a destiny like no other because we are a people like no other. For whatever reason, that's just the way it is. Here, the old world sent its bravest, boldest, and most resilient, its fiercest, most faithful, and freedom-loving. These men and women brought values, traditions, and customs transmitted over the centuries in Britain and stretching back even further to Athens, Jerusalem, and Rome. The United States of America is where the greatest civilization in human history became greater than ever before. On the grounds and granite hills and the rugged plains of this wide open continent, they forged a uniquely American character, a new breed of citizen. That's you. Congratulations. Congratulations. You're not that new a breed. You're a really good breed, but I'm not sure that you're that new a breed. Americans did not bow before a king or a government, but kneeled only before Almighty God. That's right. These were the people who founded our republic. These were the patriots who fought for independence. This was the spirit that demanded freedom, and this was the culture that built America and carved its heroes into Mount Rushmore.
Thanks, Timothy Cecil.
For generations, it was understood that the core of patriotic duty of every American was to pass this culture on to our children and to preserve the nation for centuries and centuries to come. But in recent years, there's been an undeniable attempt to change this exceptional character, to beat the American spirit out of us, alienate us from our history, and to make it impossible to even answer the question, what does it mean to be an American? As we march into our 250th year, incredible, beautiful year it will be, we must never forget there is no American freedom without American culture.
That's right. Learn English, for God's sake.
And there is no American founding without the American people. Many nations have paper constitutions and legal systems, but the citizens live in fear and squalor. A constitution is only as strong as the people and the culture responsible for upholding it. But as long as we remember who we are, we have to always remember who we are and what we're all about. The United States of America will forever be the land of free men and women, and we will never, ever fail.
I think it's caught up now.
So tonight, let us say clearly and proudly what makes Americans so unique and extraordinary. We're going to give our country its identity back. Above all, Americans love freedom. We cherish independence, and we know that we are the heirs to the most beautiful land, the most thrilling story, and the most precious legacy on which the sun has ever shined. In America, we do not need anyone's permission to say what we think and to live as we please, to worship as we choose, or to keep and bear arms. You know that. And for almost 6 years during my presidency, I've saved, almost single-handedly, but working with John and some other great people, we've saved your Second Amendment, and I will continue to do so, I promise. Our rights here, given to us by the God who made us, and those rights shall not be infringed. Americans believe in self-reliance. We look at success with envy not, and I say that some people are envious and some people are not. We are not, but with admiration, and we earn it, and we will always earn it, and we will always respect it. We are an incredible, good, kind, and generous people, always ready to help a friend or a neighbor in need. No one has ever given more to charity, ended more hunger, cured more disease, or done more to uplift humanity than Americans, and no country ever will be able to match it. Thank you. So true. Americans honor excellence. We admire boldness. We respect ambition. We are a nation of dreamers and believers, warriors and explorers, doers and fighters. In every human endeavor, Americans see an unfinished competition. What is strong can be made stronger. What is fast can be made faster. What is great can be made greater than ever before. And that's what's happening with America. Show us a mountain and we'll just climb it. Show us an ocean and we'll just cross it. Show us a problem and we will just solve it. Show us a task the world calls impossible and Americans will get it done. Americans are strong and always ready to stand firm for a good cause. We treasure justice, fairness, family, honesty, and human dignity, unlike societies based on class, clan, or tribe. We see every citizen as an individual, equal under the law and equal under the eyes of the Lord. In America, we speak English because that is the language of our founding, and for
Borders, language, culture.
That has been the language of freedom. An American always wants peace and order, but we will never shrink from danger or threat. We will always fight, 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 and win, win, win. We got to do that. Because this is our culture, this is our character. Not every American is all of these things, but every American knows these are the traits that make our country exceptional, and exceptional it is. You do not have to be born here, but you do have to love what we have built. You must love our country. There has never been anything like us anywhere on earth, and we are not going to let anyone take that away. Yet as we approach this magnificent anniversary, we see our American identity under a renewed attack. a generation after we fought and won the Cold War against the menace of communism, there is now a resurgence of the communist menace in our land, including from newcomers to our country who embrace ideas totally opposed to our way of life and our great success. These are not mere political disagreements like differences over taxes or regulations. Communism is a mortal threat to American liberty. It is the greatest threat to our country, including World War I, World War II, Pearl Harbor, or even 9/11. We're not going to let this happen to us. Believe me, we're not letting it happen. Because communism is the enemy of free people everywhere in the world. Never works. It's the enemy of the Constitution. Above all, it's the enemy of July 4th, 1776. It is.
Hey, can you guys please help support the channel tonight? We got Wild Bill Wassman doing an attempt up there.
Turn. They are silent on the miserable history of communism itself because it never worked. Thousands of years, if you look at it, under different names, under somewhat different ideologies and systems. That system has led to more death and destruction than any system ever tried. It killed 100 million people just in the last century alone. Communism is the exact opposite of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It's death, tyranny, and the pursuit of evil. The godless communist morality states that anything is justified to bring about inhuman visions and to really propose
Thanks, Dan.
what's good. They don't want good. They don't love God, and they don't want God. They don't love religion, and they don't want religion, and they won't have it. But we will not let them win. They have no chance against us. They have no respect for law.
I mean, what do you do when a devout communist wins an election? It seems like they should just be put in jail and the election taken away from them. We're not a communist nation. I don't give a shit what you voted in.
Can be given no quarter in a democracy.
Doesn't make any sense to
Because the first thing they do when they get into power is turn around and destroy it. It always is destroyed, just as communists have done in other countries all over the world, no matter where you look. Very simply, communism represents the worst ideas and abuses in history by the worst people. The American founding represents the best ideas and traditions in history by the best people like you. You can be loyal to Karl Marx, or you can be loyal to America. You can be a communist, or you can be a patriot. You cannot be both. As for those who peddle Marxist lies about our heritage, tell our children that we live on stolen land, or that our heroes were oppressors, they're doing something much worse than slandering our past. They are slandering and attacking our future. Not going to let that happen. They're trying to tear down the great American character, to destroy the people who declared independence, who crossed the Delaware, who settled the West, and who conquered the skies. You know who those people are. But we will never let that happen. Our American ancestors did not shed their blood at Concord and Trenton, Gettysburg and Shiloh, Midway and Normandy, just so that a band of thieves, radicals, and lunatics could come in and loot, pillage our nation. Our heroes died to win, build, and to save, and to build truly a great country, the greatest country ever in the world. So on the
You know what's funny is I also use logic, reason, and common sense. That's why I voted for him. Who the hell would vote for somebody who says men should compete in women's sports?
States of America will vanquish communism quickly. Don't let them take too much of your time. You know they're wasting your time, don't you? But we're not going to let them take too long or too much of our time as they play their games and send them into exile. We will send them quickly away, and we will continue to build our country bigger and better and stronger than ever before. America will never be a communist country. We can only lose the midterms if we allow ourselves to lose the midterms, if we are foolish, stupid, and unwise. But if we terminate the filibuster, as we should do, and immediately vote for the Save America Act, then we will not lose an election for 100 years. We do that, we're not going to lose an election for 100 years. The Communist Party is made up of illegal immigrants, criminals, and everybody that doesn't want to work. Communism is a loser. It always was, and it is right now. It's a big loser. Look at the people that are promoting it. They are not the people you're going to follow. In 250 years, the free people of this land have accomplished more with our liberty than any other society has accomplished, even in thousands and thousands of years. As you look back and you study, what our critics will never understand is that America is not the sum of its mistakes. Our mistakes make us human. Our achievements make us American, and nobody has ever had the achievements that we've had. We are the nation that dreamed and created the modern world. We laid the railroads. We raised up those big, beautiful skyscrapers, harnessed electricity, and invented the light bulb, the telephone, the airplane, the assembly line, the television, the microchip, the personal computer, the internet, the GPS, the smartphone, and almost everything else that has ever been invented, including, especially over the last few days in certain areas, a thing called air conditioning. We invented it all. We charted the human genome to cure diseases. We powered entire cities by splitting single atoms and planted our flag on the moon. Americans fill the airwaves of the planet with our music and our culture. We invented baseball, basketball, football, volleyball, NASCAR, and the rodeo. We love that rodeo of the West. Americans have won the most Olympic medals of any country in the world by far, the most Nobel Prizes. Well, they haven't given me one. Settled 8 wars, I still haven't gotten it. That's okay. And the most world records. We publish by far the most patents. We produce the best movies. We make the best music. And we raise up the greatest entertainers and strongest athletes the world has ever seen. So true. We built the biggest and most dynamic economy. And by the way, our country today is doing better than it's ever done before. Never had anything like it. With, as of last week, $19.2 trillion pouring into the United States right now from all over the world. That's the investments being made, and the record was 3. 4 years, in 4 years, the last administration did much less than 1, and we did 19.2 in 12 months. And thanks to our great election win, November 5th, and the tariffs, plants and factories are being built all over the United States right now, and they're being built at a number that we've never, ever seen before. So much more. We're breaking records by double, triple, quadruple. We created the strongest and most powerful military. We won 2 world wars, the Cold War, left America's enemies in the depths of history. We beat Venezuela in 1 day. And we knocked the hell out of Iran. They're dying to settle. They want to settle so badly. We gave them a week off for a funeral because we're nice. It's true. For 250 years, the entire world has looked to our country and been inspired by the leaps of progress, feats of strength, and acts of selflessness, faith, and hope that could only have happened right here. 2 years ago, we were laughed at, mocked, and a nation in decline. We were in very serious decline. Last administration, what they've done to us, we can never, ever forget that. And today, we are the hottest country anywhere in the world. Everybody respects us. like no nation. Remember this, we're respected like no nation in the world is respected like us. Every king, every prime minister, every president, they respect us more than any other country by far. 2 years ago, they laughed at us. Now it's only respect. And I want to tell you, the best is yet to come. So in conclusion, from the roaring waters of Niagara Falls to the shimmering gushes of oil and fire from our beloved Texas, from the magnificent fields of corn and wheat and barley of our farms in the Midwest, to the vast canyons of finance in New York City, from the billowing stacks of steel now being produced all over our country at record levels, to the car plants that are rising like we have never seen before. We have more plants under construction than we've had ever before. Automobile plants, something you didn't see of at all for 35 years. To technology from the minds of geniuses that is being brought to life in all corners of our country. From the snow.
See, now it's 49% want to watch the Trump thing.
Of the Gulf of America. And to right here in the Black Hills of the Dakotas, after 250 years, American freedom still rings, the American dream still lives, and the American flag still flies more proudly than ever before over the people who will not quit, the nation that will not fail, the country.
Hey, it's Lisa Belson. Hey, how's it going? Man, Wild Bill Wassman. All right, I was looking for more of that kind of stuff when we're doing Trump, you guys. You know, you guys are always, Trump, but then you don't support the channel during
because
Trump. So there's Lisa Belson. All right, thank you. Good to see you again.
This is only the beginning of the golden age of America. And together we will make America bigger, better, and stronger than ever before. I promise you that. It's an honor to be your president. Thank you very much, and happy Independence Day to all. God bless you all. God bless you all. Thank you.
Well, hell, that was short. That's a miracle. It's a world record. You know why it was short? Because he literally didn't ad-lib anything. I can't play that. Oh, well. Well, there you go. There you go. He did his little dance. It's probably not. They didn't set it up for a huge crowd. There's a lot of crazy people out there right now. So, all right. There you go. We did it. So I'm going to go backwards in time now. On the show, now we have to start over on some of the stuff that we were doing, okay? Hey, Lisa Belson. And Southern Neek. That's a cool name. Southern Neek. Like unique Southerner, right? Is that kind of what you're doing there? Very cool. I don't know if I've ever seen that you in here before. Are you new or? I mean, I don't see every single comment that comes in during the shows, but thanks for the super chat there. Appreciate it. All right, so now let's go back. Let's go back again. So what we were trying to do in the Nancy Guthrie case is put together because now that it's absolutely apparent that the FBI believes it is a abduction for ransom, and I also believe that they believe it was an abduction for ransom that went wrong. I think they believe all of that. So we're putting all the elements. So far it was like Nancy was the target of the porch guy. Like they went there to abduct her. So that's what a ransom would be. Nothing was stolen except Nancy herself. Like she was stolen from the home, which is an abduction. The front door camera was removed. And these are like little elements, so the front door camera was removed because and there was expirated blood there, and a vehicle was moved where the camera would have seen it because they're going to be removing. Those are sort of like side things. I'm not sure those are exactly directly connected there. Oh, she hasn't been here before? Well, thank you, Southern Eek. My time listening to this cold case was stolen. Okay, well, go do something else, Moses. Go find some other place where you can get it back. It's not a cold case. Yeah. It's a case. It's not like 50 years old. Let's see. So then the other one was ransom note was received by KOLD. And we played a minute ago, so I'll do it again.
This is Cameron Guthrie. I'm speaking for the Guthrie family.
Let's just start that portion over again. We'll play it again, all right? So just visualize in your mind what's going on here. This is so clear and obvious at this point. And when I'm saying clear, I'm not like when somebody else says clear and it's not. They always go, clearly you can... No, you can't. Clearly you can see an outline of a gun in his shirt. No, it's not clear at all. In fact, there isn't one, But you got people do that all the time. Let's see. So, this right here. So after
On behalf of our family.
After the ransom note was sent out on the 2nd in the evening, the next day, I would say, they probably got a hold of Savannah and they played it. They devised a plan. This is what we'd like you to say in response to this ransom note that we believe to be authentic because they told us where the gun was on. I'm not the gun. They told us where the watch was on the floor and other elements in here. We believe this is real. All right. So then Savannah and her brother and Annie came out and did this speech. Oh, well, thank you so much there, Southern Eek. Well, you should chat more with everybody. I'm sure you have great things to say. But I appreciate it. All right, so here we go. This is on the 4th.
We want to thank all of you for the prayer.
So this is after the FBI sat down with them, and I think why do you think they have papers in their hand? Because that's what they were told to say. That's what I guarantee it. This here has the same words that are here. It's a script that they're reading from.
For our beloved mom, Nancy. We feel them, and we continue to believe that she feels them too.
Hey, thank you so much, Phyllis Watson.
Our mom is a kind, faithful, loyal, fiercely loving woman of goodness and light.
See, they're speaking right to them, because remember, the first ransom note said, "Hello, Savannah, we have your mother, Nancy," something like that. Give us $4 million by this date, or give us $6 million by this date, or we'll kill her, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it had all this other kind of information in there about there was a watch on, and described what they saw inside the house, and that's what verified to the FBI that was a legitimate ransom note. And the thing is I believe when that note was written that Nancy Guthrie was already dead. She died shortly after the abduction. The first ransom note was received by KOLD like 38 to 40 hours later. Okay? And so that means she likely wasn't alive. So it was a Hail Mary attempt. And they also put in stuff to verify that they really were the abductors, but they didn't have proof of life in that first ransom note, other than just saying we have her. So now we have Savannah here, who's going to respond to that. Wow, thanks Lisa Belson and Phyllis Watson. Thank you guys, really kind of you. And so she's going to then ask for verification here because they did not get it.
She's funny, spunky.
And they're trying to appeal to their softer side of humanity, like, hey, you know, this is what she's like. Talk to her, you know.
And clever. She has grandchildren that adore her and crowd around her and cover her with kisses. She loves fun and adventure. She is a devoted friend. She is full of kindness and knowledge. Talk to her and you'll see.
The light is missing from our lives. Nancy is our mother. We are her children.
I think that they, you know, some of the stuff they wrote themselves, but it's all part of a sort of a script that the FBI wanted them to put out. Hey, look at that, 40 Months by Lisa Valenzuela.
She is our beacon. She holds fast to joy in all of life's circumstances. She chooses joy day after day. Despite having already passed through great trials of pain and grief, we are always going to be merely human, just normal human people who need our mom. Mama, if you're listening, we need you to come home. We miss you.
And so it's kind of interesting, too, because they didn't follow through on the first deadline. And so they might be a little nervous right here. I mean, here's what I guess is sort of weird to me, is why didn't they have Savannah and them do this early morning on the 3rd instead of waiting all the way to the 4th? It seems like the 3rd, I mean, you'd want to do this as quick as possible to ask for the proof of life instead of, you know, like 2 days later, you know. I don't know. I just don't understand why this part here couldn't have been put out on the 3rd at, 8 in the morning. Something like that.
Our mom is our heart and our home. She's 84 years old. Her health, her heart is fragile. She lives in constant pain. She is without any medicine. She needs it to survive. She needs it not to suffer. We too have heard the reports about a ransom.
Yeah, I saw that in your email that you sent. Yeah, she shook hands with, where were you? They shake hands with Sean Hannity and Paul Morrow. I saw them together the other day. What was that, like on his set or something? Or Paul Morrow's good.
Some letter in the media. As a family, we are doing everything that we can. We are ready to talk.
Hold on, let me rewind it.
Pain. She is without any medicine. She needs it to survive. She needs it not to suffer.
And see, remember that part where they said here, we didn't fully grasp the seriousness of her physical condition. And that's almost like they're responding to that part of that message right there.
We too have heard the reports about a ransom letter in the...
Yeah, we too. So, see, she said we too have heard the reports, but it's not just reports. You've seen the ransom letter.
Media. As a family, we are doing everything that we can.
Okay, yeah, so, okay, cool. Very cool, Lisa. Yeah, that's really cool.
We are ready to talk. However, we live in a world where voices and images are easily manipulated. We need to know, without a doubt, that she is alive and that you have her.
See that? They need to know without a doubt. See this, Don't you guys think this should have came out on the 3rd, not the 4th? Like, we need to have proof without a doubt that she's alive.
We want to hear from you, and we are ready to listen. Please, reach
And it matches exactly, right?
out to us. Mommy, if you are hearing this, you are a strong woman. You are God's precious daughter, Nancy. We believe and know that even in this valley, He is with you. Everyone is looking for you, Mommy, everywhere. We will not rest. Your children will not rest until we are together again. We speak to you every moment, and we pray without ceasing. And we
I mean, they didn't know, but their mom's probably been dead for 2 days by the time they put this out.
rejoice in advance for the day that we hold you in our arms again. We love you, Mom.
Love you, Mom.
We love you, Mom. Stay strong.
We love you, Mom. We love you.
Yeah, so that went out on the first ransom note was delivered on the 2nd at like in the evening, and the first ransom note was also delivered on the 3rd to TMZ, and then the next day was what we just watched because they're responding to that. And then the following day on the 5th, that's when the second message was sent to only KOLD. However, before that message was even received by KOLD, the brother came on. And let's see.
This is Cameron Guthrie. I'm speaking for the Guthrie family. Whoever is out there holding our mother, we want to hear from you. We haven't heard anything directly. We need you to reach out, and we need a way to communicate with you so we can move forward. But first, we have to know that you have our mom. We want to talk to you, and we are waiting for contact. This is Cameron.
So what that really means is that they hadn't received any communications with them. And then I think because of that message and the one right before it by Savannah, maybe the female of the two abductors, let's just pretend, we don't know. That's when they came out and they sent on the 5th, I think it was like in the morning time, I think. So the very next day they said, listen, they're basically what they're saying is they saw what let's see, hold on a second. Let me, okay, that makes sense. All right. So then the second ransom note, it's not really a ransom note, it's just a note, said, Nancy died and was buried with nature. Okay? It's kind of a weird, with nature, right? We did not fully grasp the seriousness of her physical condition. We never intended to hurt her. That was not our intention. She perished shortly after she was taken. We believe it was heart-related. Nothing you could have done could have changed the outcome. We're truly sorry. So I actually think there is somebody in the people who've died. They're completely responsible for the death of Nancy Guthrie, but one of them may have felt bad, and it's okay to say that, you guys. Oh, that's bullshit, Gray. They're just trying. Okay, well, you just do your own thing, okay? I think that it's possible that if somebody abducted somebody for ransom, that they might actually feel bad if the person died when that's not what they wanted to do. They just wanted to get money, okay? They're not good people or anything. It doesn't make them a good person. I just think that's what happened here, okay? And so that's what they wrote, okay? That was on the 5th. And then on the 7th, 2 days later, after consultation with the FBI probably needed a day or so, and they were able to confirm that this note right here was connected to the first note. They're the same person who wrote both of them, all right? So we got that, and then That's when we got this one. Now watch how this matches that perfectly.
We received your message and we understand. We beg you now to return our mother to us so that we can celebrate with her. This is the only way we will have peace. This is very valuable to us, and we will pay.
See? Boom. I mean, that absolutely matches this. We understand now that our mother died and was buried with nature. Nothing you could have done could have changed the outcome. And then, basically they're just saying, hey, we just need to know where she's at so we can bury her. Right? So there you go. I mean, that's absolutely... How else do you explain that if it was an abduction for hire? Like, this whole thing right here was absolutely perfect for that. But it'd be great, you guys, if somebody would do a challenge out there. We haven't had one of those tonight. Right now, we're kind of like at about 80% of the goal, which is, better than 79%. But if somebody out there would do a challenge, that would be great. Yeah, anyways, I think that those messages, so I think we could put in here, ransom note received by KOLD, and then on February 2nd, and then, ransom note number 1, ransom note 1, and then this is also going to be ransom note 1 received by TMZ on February 2nd. 3rd, February 3rd. And then 4 here is going to be Savannah and her siblings give a plea for proof of life because of the first message. And then number 5 is what's the brother? Are you guys here? I mean, nobody's chatting. It's just dead as a doornail again. Because they were just doing a Hail Mary inner groove. We've already gone over this like 100 times. I'm not sure what's going on. Yeah, it's just, they were just trying to get the money. That's what their whole goal was. If she died shortly after, all right? But man, it'd be great to have, Cameron, okay. So then, Cameron, Savannah's brother, put out an Instagram on Savannah's page, also asking for proof. Then number 6 is ransom note 2 is received by KOLD. And that's when it says all the stuff. Yeah, see, that's just crazy. This makes total sense. Now, we've already kind of talked about it, but it's interesting just to see it. And there it is. Boom. Just like that. Then number 7 is Savannah and her siblings do the Instagram, I call it the we understand we understand video, right? So there you go. Yeah, that's just absolutely strong stuff right there. Hey, look at that. We got a challenge by Lisa Belson. A 5 for 5er. All right, we just need 5. We got 1. That would be cool. There's one by Phyllis Watson. Isn't this just incredible? Like, just right now, don't you look at how this is just every single thing, goes right to it. And then, so then after that, we don't have, I think that's really, and then, okay, so we have that. And then, some of this other stuff in here is what we learned recently here. Now that you got it wrong, Inner Groove. You got it wrong. Whoever you're watching or listening to is full of shit. Okay, just letting you know. Hey, thanks, Wild Bill Wassman and Alley Cake, as in I'll eat cake. You get it? I'll eat cake. Yeah. Well, hey, Inner Groove, you're just incorrect. All right, that's what I'm trying to tell you. Yeah, you don't need to say. Let them say what they want to say, though, Lisa. It's okay. I'm just going to let them know that they're incorrect. Do you want to know why you're incorrect, Inner Groove, or? Yeah, just let people, like, hey, moderators, most of you do it, but, like, just when people have comments and stuff, let me be the one. If there's anybody that's an ass, I'm going to be the one that's an ass, not you guys, okay? You guys, I know it's hard because you think similarly that I do, but that's just better if you guys are always nice to everybody. Yeah, that's what do you mean well, maybe it's a different person. I don't know who they arrested today. Are you saying there was an arrest made today? Yeah, Inner Groove. I was just waiting for the reply, KM. You don't need to help out there. I already know what I'm doing. Yeah. I don't know. Did anybody hear about an arrest made today? And by the way, we need 2 more gifted memberships up there to reach the challenge. Can we get that done, please? Okay, where is it? Where's this arrest made today? I know about the one the other day that was arrested. I don't know. Because why is that interesting? It just means that it was probably a minor sort of, wasn't a big deal. Killing them with kindness. What do you mean? You mean me? Hey, thanks, Dan. Appreciate it. All right, we need one more to get to Lisa Belson's challenge. Are you serious? Who's way behind? Who are you talking to? Me or the other guy? Hey, thank you so much there, Skeeters. Really appreciate it. And don't forget to watch the Tyler Robinson preliminary hearing here, okay? I'll be putting up the reminders soon, but make sure to watch it on this channel because we know exactly what we're doing. Thank you, Lisa Belson. Yeah, but they were incorrect, Inner Groove. They were incorrect. Okay, I'm going to tell you one time, and if you try to argue against it, that's where we're going to have a problem, Inner Groove. We've already gone through this. It all makes sense. I'm sorry for your ignorance on it, but that's just the reality. Sometimes people just can't grasp simple things. It's okay, though. Not everybody can do that. All right, so what we're going to do is look at this right here, and it says, the FBI, and this is an official statement, not some source that Reuters claimed they had. Hey, let me ask you something. Don't you trust, look at Harvey and TMZ they're sort of tabloidy, but I think every time he's talked about the ransom notes, he's telling the truth because the FBI has been communicating with them on it. That's a fact. I think, they got a ransom note there at TMZ. And then he started communicating with this other person over and over and over and over again. And so let's see. Then the FBI. Hell, I was just reading comments as I was talking, so I forgot what I was saying. Yeah. So I was going to say that I think that the source that Harvey has in the FBI is much stronger than like somebody like Enton or Reuters, because their source is somebody directly in the investigation who's been talking to his IT department to try to figure out where these notes are coming from. So doesn't that just, like that right there tells you something? When he asked his two sources in the FBI, they both said that it's more likely than not that they're real. You know what that means? Is they believe that they're real. Okay? That's the truth. And then, hey, Inner Groove, I'm talking to you right now. Okay? If you keep doing this thing back and forth with some other person, I'm going to remove you from the channel. Okay? We are talking. I'm telling you, I'm answering your questions. All right? So Harvey has a great source. And when he said what he said, I was like, wow, there are two completely contradictory, competing voices in the FBI. And after that happened, I said, I'm sure everybody said, hey, the FBI needs to say something now. And guess what? FBI Phoenix came out and they said the FBI and its task force partners have received several ransom notes over the course of this investigation. Some have been deemed to be extortion attempts, and we saw the arrests and, sentencing without legitimacy. And it says other ransom demands may potentially be legitimate, which what they're really doing is just doing CYA. They absolutely believe that first ransom note is real. You know why? Because right below it says this case continues to be investigated as a kidnapping for ransom case. So that means they had already been investigating it as a kidnapping for ransom, and they continue to look at it like that. And guess what? They wouldn't look at it as a kidnapping for ransom unless they actually got a ransom note, right? Because if you didn't get a ransom note, you wouldn't know what it was. Can I get a boom shakalaka? So listen, you're just wrong. That's just the truth, all right? Yes, we do have more information than you do. If you believe what you believe, you don't have good information. All right, that's the truth. That means you're watching a bunch of ridiculous people out there selling you garbage. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Dan said, great. Did the FBI even consult Candace about this? I'm sure there was Jewish Egyptian planes in the air. Yeah, no doubt about it, They're really Egyptian planes with a Star David on the side. Don't forget that. Give me a break. What do you mean? What do you mean stick with the Candace case? What are you talking about, Kathleen? Hey, Kathleen. Whoever you were following, they don't know what the hell they're talking about, okay? You seem like another one of the lunatics. I mean, unless you're talking to somebody else. I'm not sure what you're talking about, the Candace case. Who are you talking to? What are you doing? Jesus, my God. These guys are crazy people, man. They come in here. Listen, this channel's been way ahead on what the reality of this case has been than any other YouTube channel, okay? That's the truth. That absolutely is the truth. I was the first person to say it was expirated blood outside the house. First person on all of YouTube, meaning she's alive when she's exiting the home. Then, we went straight to, I originally thought it was an abduction for ransom gone wrong. Then we switched to a nut job with the abduction for ransom gone wrong, up there, like it was 60-40 to me. So I would talk about both of them. And then it got switched back over to the ransom gone wrong when they put out the verbiage of the ransom notes. That changed everything. And I'm telling you the truth here. We were way ahead of everybody else. They just take what we say and pretend it's new information. And then these clowns show up in here and go, ooh, I heard this over here, and they said this and this and this and this. It's ridiculous. We were the first people to say that the reason the doorbell camera was removed was because they're going to be parking a car in the front driveway there and putting Nancy into it. And then 3 months later, Brian Enton says, wow, you guys, I'm starting to wonder if the car, and it's like, what? We talked about it already. We had it. It's wild. You got watch something else every once in a while. You'll probably if you hang out here, you'll be way ahead of everybody else on every single case that I cover in depth. It's just the way it is. You don't have to believe it, but the people here know that that's the reality. It's crazy. I mean, unbelievable. Yeah, it's, wow. Yikes. Yeah, the truth isn't popular to people. And then, the funny part is once the people that have been lying the whole time, they switch over, they start saying the same stuff that everybody else has been saying, or people like me have been saying for a long time. And then everyone goes, wow, that's so smart of you. And it's just, what planet are you guys on? It's unbelievable. It's crazy. This case continues to be investigated as a kidnapping for ransom. What does that tell you? Well, it tells you that it's already, as we were saying, I said it like 3 nights ago, and then we talked about it again last night. There were, 2 nights ago at least when this came out. The part that says continues to be investigated means that it had already been. It has been. I'll tell you this right now. This case has been investigated as an abduction or a kidnapping for ransom. You know when? Since the moment of the first ransom note. When they had Savannah and her siblings get out and give that speech, it's already been this. No, you didn't, Kathleen. You know that? I can just tell you, you're wrong. You're a fool, all right? Let's see. That line says it all. It does. That line and the second, I don't know. Maybe I don't even understand what Kathleen's saying. I don't know who she's talking to, etc. She just seems to be blurting, talking to an unknown person. How do people not understand this statement? I don't know. Where'd that one person go? They just disappear? So people that are watching right now, and you see how frustrated I get, don't you get it now when you see the craziness that happens in the chat with these people who come in, they start talking they're going to go out of their way to believe Reuters when it's been proven that Reuters had a bad source. And you know how we know that? Is because when the shit hit the fan and we had 2 competing stories, the FBI had to come out with a statement, and they used the local FBI Phoenix to put it out there, and this is the truth, is that they've been looking at it as a kidnapping for ransom case since the beginning. Tell me any case in the world where somebody was abducted where they treated it as an abduction for ransom case when they didn't get a ransom letter or a note or anything. No, they would just be, somebody was abducted. Somebody was abducted from their home, and we don't know where they are. If Nancy Guthrie was abducted, and she was just missing, and let's just say this is the scenario, that the camera wasn't removed in the front, and she was missing, and you could see a car vaguely, it was just kind of hard to see, and they put her in the car and they drove away. That would be an abduction case, right? The only thing that turned it into a kidnapping for ransom was because they got a note that they believe is absolutely valid. And that's why they've been focused on that angle the whole time. Doesn't that make sense? By the way, you guys, what's going on with all the lols in here? It's just lol, 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 lol. And then watch, these 6 guys named Lol show. 6 guys named Lol show. Yeah. Anyways. I wish you guys would just pay attention to what I'm saying and not the jokes. Did you hear what I just said? Yeah. It looks like Jason was listening. It's incredibly important for people to actually realize what I'm saying right here. That this is a case of kidnapping for ransom that they've been investigating, and I believe since the 2nd of February. Even maybe the 3rd. Let's say they took a night to look at it, and then the 3rd. So February 3rd, they've been looking at this as an abduction for ransom case. If she was just missing and disappeared from her home, they would just say, it seems like she's been abducted or taken by somebody. That's it. That's all you'd have. Just like all the other cases that we've done out there where somebody's missing, they go, wow, looks like her keys are in the house, the wallet. They go, wow, looks like she was abducted right from her house, right? That's what people say. But in this case, they're saying it's a kidnapping for ransom. You know why? Because they got a ransom note. That's the only way you would know. And the ransom note itself, they believe in, and that's why they're doing it. So that's why it's just, you got to do, it's right there, it just nails the whole damn thing. It's crazy, you guys. I don't know, man. It's really kind of simple. What did Timothy Cecil do? Let's see. We can leave the gray man hanging on America's 250th. Oh, did you do a challenge in there? I don't know. Or are you just telling other people, hey, yeah. I don't know what's happening. I didn't see one. I know. Isn't that sad, Phyllis? It's just, I don't know how to make this clear to everybody. This is freaking, and I'm actually kind of pumped making this thing right now. I mean, look at this, right? Let's get this thing finished here, and then we're going to go through it from start to finish, and it'll just be absolutely devastating. All right, so we got the Savannah and her siblings do the Instagram We Understand video. Okay, then what was the next thing in the order like that came out? I think it was just months of silence, right? And then we heard about the the ransom notes. I guess what we could say is, I'm just putting here what the ransom notes said, even though that's not, we didn't know this then, so that the timing of that isn't right, but I'm just going to, so that matters. Let me just indent these a little bit. And then the next thing I think was the revelation of, the use of the word we, you could say that. Use of the word we. I got to put walkie-talkie up there. Use of the word we. I guess that means that's more like about two people. That doesn't mean, forget it. That has no relevance there. I'm trying to just get the points that speak to what has come out that points to abduction for ransom. And so right now we have it all sitting here, but I would say 8 would be the 2 letters, revelations about the 2 ransom notes with specific information about amounts, followed by 1, I guess, yeah. Yeah, followed by one admitting that Nancy was not alive, and that, well, we already see it up there. Not alive, and that even had Savannah paid, it wouldn't have mattered. Like that, and she is buried with nature. So we got that. And then, okay. But I think it's important, this whole thing that happened here, this little battle back and forth, you know, it almost makes you wonder, did they do that on purpose? Who reached out? How did Reuters get this? Did somebody at the FBI reach out to Reuters and say, hey, I've got something for you? Yeah, those notes aren't real. And then, you know, Harvey's going to, I mean, it's just so obvious. I mean, I knew immediately that Harvey's going to ask his source. Thank you, Karen. And then there's this, now we have this situation where the FBI has to put something out. Did they want to be forced to do that in some way, just for some reason? I don't know. So, let's see. So that the Reuters one did not help, you know, in the story. But then you could say Harvey. Okay, I'm going to say number 9. Harvey from TMZ challenged the a Reuters report that stated that the ransom notes were fake. And then I'll just put, I'll keep going here. And it says, Harvey was told that the first 2 notes were more likely than not real. He was also told that the secondary, I don't even know what you call that person, note writer, whatever, looking for a Bitcoin was more likely than not fake. Okay, but we have that. And then FBI Phoenix put out a clarifying statement saying that the ransom notes may be real and continue to investigate the case as a kidnapping for ransom. And I would say they likely believe it's a kidnapping for ransom gone wrong. I mean, I'm almost certain, because if they believe those, then that means the second one they believe. Well, thank you, Wild Bill Wassman. All right, let me read through this, and then if you can think of any, I'm just trying to put the things in there that point directly to, you know, things that are out there that say, yes, this was a ransom, an abduction, or a kidnapping for ransom. All right, you guys, let's try to get another challenge going in here. That'd be great. And then maybe I'll do one, and we'll see where we can get. I'm trying to have a better month than the last 2 months have been identical, just really bad. So, you know, I'm trying to have a better month. We'll see how it goes. Good night, Karen. Have a great 4th of July. Everybody out there also have a great 4th of July tomorrow. So listen to this. Let's just go right through this again and see what's happening. Okay. So based on the facts we know, Nancy Guthrie was the target of the porch guy. Doesn't everybody agree with that? That Nancy herself was the target of the porch guy, whether you believe there's another person or not. That Nancy herself was the target of the porch guy. Okay, then something else that helps out is nothing was stolen except Nancy herself, which makes it an abduction. You know, like she was stolen from the home. Okay? And then I'm just putting little things in there about that. I guess these might not even need to be in there. Yeah, the part about the front door camera isn't that's irrelevant. But this is relevant because it means that she was still alive. That means they wanted to keep her alive. Expirated blood outside the front door means she was alive when exiting. So we got that. And then a vehicle was moved. Yeah, I think that's a good piece there, though. A vehicle was moved where the... Okay, I guess I need to put that in there. A camera... I don't know. Is that really even relevant, though? I mean... That doesn't make it an abduction for Ransom. It just means that she was... That's evidence that she was the target. Not that... well, I guess it kind of backs up that. A vehicle was moved where the camera would have seen the car used to transport Nancy. Where the removed camera. Okay. Anyway, so then the next one is ransom note number 1 was received by KOLD and another local station. So there was this ransom note out there. And that was received after 5 p.m. on February 2nd. Then ransom note number 1 was also received by TMZ, but that was on February 3rd. Then Savannah and her siblings give a plea for proof of life because of the first message. And then Cameron also came out, and he, he's the brother of Savannah and Annie, and, another son of, or a son, the only son of Nancy. And he put out on Instagram on the, so I guess I need to put the date. So that was the 3rd. Savannah and her siblings give a plea, and that's on February 5th. February 5th. And then Cameron, Savannah's brother put out an Instagram on, no, that was the 4th, excuse me. 4th, and this is the 5th. On February 5th. Ransom note 2 was received by KOLD. Okay, so then you have Savannah and her siblings give a plea for proof of life after receiving that ransom note on February 5th. And then I'm going to put that in. Savannah and her siblings give plea for proof of life in response to the first message, the first the first and only ransom note. That's it. On February 4th. Cameron, Savannah's brother, put out an Instagram on Savannah's page also asking for proof on February 5th. Asking for proof on February 5th. And then then that's also on February 5th. On February 5th. Let's see, comma, like maybe ransom note 2 is received by KOLD. It's not really a ransom note, though. I'll just put quotes around ransom. And then that's one that says, Nancy died and was buried in nature, or with nature. We did not fully grasp the seriousness of her physical condition. She perished shortly after she was taken. We believe it was heart-related. Nothing you could have done, so don't feel bad, for not sending the money right away, because nothing you could have done could have changed the outcome. We are truly sorry. Number 7, Savannah and her siblings do the Instagram, the we understand, because they're responding to that exact message right there. And that was on February 7th. And then there was months of nothingness. And then more recently, revelations about the 2 ransom notes with specific information about amounts, followed by another, I think. Hey guys, we're having this massive lull. We got to try to keep moving forward here. We still need, what are we at here? See if we can get 5 more gifted memberships or something. We got to keep on trucking. And when we have these long lulls, it makes it hard. We had a good stretch there for a few minutes. Oh, that's just total bullshit astrology. Just what you just typed in there. Yeah, all right, so here we go. And those are, you're talking about, see, there's these hardcore kidnapper types. I think these might be sort of a younger people, and there was a female in there, and she felt bad. No way, you know what's also no way? No way another person, a robbery gone wrong would write that. No way a fake ransomer would write that second one. I've told everybody that the second ransom note is a huge clue in the case. It's really important. It's really ridiculously important. Anyways. Any chance, you guys? We can keep on trucking? I want to have keep moving where we have decent nights this month. Last month was another just not good. At least we were able to get to the 300,000. All right, so February 7th, Savannah and her siblings do the Instagram we understand. On the 8th, revelations about 2 ransom notes with specific information about amounts, followed by another admitting that Nancy was not alive and that even had Savannah paid, it wouldn't have mattered, and she is buried with nature. Number 9, Harvey from TMZ challenged a Reuters report that stated that the ransom notes were fake. Harvey was told that the first 2 notes were more likely than not real. Or Harvey's, I'm going to put Harvey's sources then told him that the first 2 notes were more likely than not real. He was also told that the secondary note writer looking for a Bitcoin was more likely than not fake. And then the FBI Phoenix put out a clarifying statement saying that the ransom notes, the FBI Phoenix, the FBI was forced to clarify. The FBI was forced to clarify the conflicting FBI source statements, or FBI sources, and had FBI Phoenix put out a clarifying statement saying that the ransom notes may be real and continue to investigate the case as a kidnapping for ransom. And I said they likely believe it's a kidnapping for ransom gone wrong. And that's because the second note they believe in too. Hey, thanks, Jim Lon. He busted a lol. Yeah. I'll tell you what, I'll do a 5 for $5, you guys. And this is where I don't have any more freebies to give out. So I have to spend $25. But if you guys donate 5 memberships, I'll donate 5 myself. All right? Robbing Peter to pay Paul. Let's see if we can do it. All right? So you guys, do the look at, and try to match my challenge. It seems like whenever I do them, it's, tough. No, shit, that was that was quick. All right, let me do. That only took 2 seconds. All right. Well, thank you, Phyllis Watson. There we go. I'll do mine now. I've ran out of the freebies. You get 10 to give out right at the beginning of the month, and we did those already. Thanks, Wild Bill Wassman. Okay, here we go. There we go. Okay. So I just matched Phyllis Watson. Very cool. Thank you, guys. All right, so I'm going to go back and do this. Let me read it from the beginning again now that it's... And then I want you guys to think about what else can I add to this that it directly implies... Directly is what I'm looking for. That directly implies that it was an abduction. Okay, so it's... I guess that's kind of a dumb statement there. Let me just go like that. Nancy Guthrie was the target of, I'm just going to say of the abductors, of the, what do you want to call these people? Nancy Guthrie was the target. There, that's all you got to put. You don't need anything else. Nancy Guthrie was the target. Nothing was stolen except Nancy herself, which is an abduction. Expirated blood outside the front door means she was alive when exiting. A vehicle was moved where the removed camera would have seen the car used to transport Nancy. Ransom note number 1 was received by KOLD and another local station after 5 p.m. on February 2nd. Ransom note number 1 was also received by TMZ on February 3rd. Savannah and her siblings give a plea for proof of life in response to the first and only ransom note on February 4th. Cameron, Savannah's brother, put out an Instagram on Savannah's page also asking for proof on February 5th, as they hadn't, because they hadn't heard from. Because they hadn't heard from the kidnappers. Again. And then on February 5th, the same day that Cameron gave his Instagram, ransom note number 2 is received by KOLD. And I think that was in the morning. KOLD in the morning. And then it said Nancy died and was buried with nature. We did not fully grasp the seriousness of her physical condition. We never intended to hurt her, and that was not our intention. Let me read it again. We never intended to hurt her, that was not our intention. She perished shortly after she was taken. We believe it was heart related. Nothing you could have done could have changed the outcome. We are truly sorry. And then February 7th, in response to that message that had all that information in it, Savannah and her siblings do the Instagram "We Understand" video, where they said, "We understand." We played that a minute ago. And then on the number 8 here is revelations about Months later, though, 2 ransom notes with specific information about amounts, followed by another admitting that Nancy was not alive and that even had Savannah paid, it wouldn't have mattered, and that she's buried with nature. And then Harvey from TMZ challenged a Reuters report that stated that the ransom notes were fake. What date was that, by the way? What was the date of that? Let me go back. I think I have it in here. I think it's like the second. It wasn't the second, was it? It seemed like it was the first, or that might be it. FBI statement on legitimacy of Okay, that's might have been the 30th then. I'm not really sure. Let me get this thing. Where is that damn thing? Man, where the hell did it go? The 30th. I might have it here. Today's the 3rd. Yeah, that's weird. I don't know why it wouldn't be in the 30th. Okay, hold on. Just let me do it myself. I can do it. Okay. That determines FBI. What happened? Hey, you got some jewels in here. Yeah. This is crazy. The second, did I put it in there? No. 27th seems too long ago. I think this is just like a couple days ago, right? Like the 1st, it seems like. Oh, there it is. Man, it didn't seem like it was the right. So this was June 30th. Was when this came out. So let's put that right here. Harvey from TMZ challenged a 6/30/2026 Reuters report that stated that the ransom notes were fake. Harvey's sources then told him the following day, so that would have been on July 1st. Harvey's sources on July 1st, 2026, then told him that the first 2 notes were more likely than not real. He was also told that the secondary note writer looking for a Bitcoin was more likely than not fake. Then FBI was forced, I think that was on also the 1st. That's right, it was like later in the day, right? Yeah. Then the FBI on July 1st, 2026, was forced to clarify the conflicting FBI sources of Reuters and TMZ, and had the FBI Phoenix put out a clarifying statement saying that the ransom notes may be real and continue to investigate the case as a kidnapping for ransom. They likely believe it's a kidnapping for ransom gone wrong because the secondary, I mean, that's my opinion. I don't know. So what else do we got then? Yeah, we already know that the FBI believes that they're real. That's kind of obvious. All right, so look at. I think that's like ridiculous right there. Can you put anything close to that kind of information on any other angle? Okay, let's talk about abduction, a hired abduction hit. It was just a hit. It was a hired abduction. Okay, where's the evidence of that? Nothing. It doesn't even, like, a lot of it doesn't fit any of the other elements. It's crazy. Okay, so in the other scenarios that these other clowns put out, you've got Nancy Guthrie was the target. Okay, yep, she's a target in, let's say, a sexual assault. Okay, that theory's out there. I remember, wasn't it Coffin Daffer who was thinking that early? So it could have been a sexual assault, which, there are cases like that. It's just not very likely, right? Okay, so it was a sexual assault. Nothing was stolen. That's still there. You could still, I guess you might still have X-rated blood outside because there was, they were a vehicle, because they had to still get the vehicle. But here's the thing is, if it was a sexual assault, did you plan it so far ahead that you actually remove the front camera knowing that you're going to put your car there to then take her away and bury her? That seems like a hell of a lot of, planning just to do a sexual assault. And then you'd have to believe that the same person who did the sexual assault said, I know what I can do. Instead of just burying her in the desert out there, I'm going to write a ransom note. And then, after such a violent death, you're going to apologize in a second note. See how stupid that is? So let's just throw that one out the window right now. That's ridiculous. Okay, so take that one out the window. Now, what's another theory? Let's see. We've got the abduction. I mean, here's the thing: is the reason now you're going to have a lot of people saying it's a hired abduction for ransom, right? Is because now it's easier to fit in because the FBI is already looking at it as an abduction for ransom, but we can pretend that there's something else behind it. So that's going to be the number one theory out there. Because in that scenario, but here's what I would say. If it's a fake ransom for hire, what was the point of the second note? Wouldn't you have just sent the first one to add the credibility that, yes, it was a ransom, that you're looking for a ransom, you put it out there, and you would just never send the second one in. Because you wouldn't, there's no reason for that. That's why I always keep telling everybody how important that second ransom note is. There'd be no reason to send that in a hired ransom situation, because you would merely send it out. You proved that you were in the house. You would have seen the stuff on the ground and everything. And so it would be taken seriously. So that part would be met in the story. And that's all that would matter, because that's all you wanted to sell to the cops, is that, yes, you were the person, because I saw the watch on the ground over here. I saw this over there. I saw this, and this. That's all you needed to prove. So there's absolutely no reason to, 3 days later, to send in sort of an apology note. Do you guys agree with that? Ah, Jesus. Oh, God. It's to torment the family. That doesn't torment shit. They already knew she wasn't lying. Listen, come on, you guys. Let's use logic, reason, and common sense. What would be the point if it was an abduction for ransom? It's a fake abduction for ransom. For hire. Like somebody else paid them to do this. There's no reason to write that second note. Okay? This would just be something where you wanted her to die for some other reason, but you wanted to look like it was something else. So I'm throwing that one out the window. Doesn't make sense. Yeah, robbery gone wrong never made sense to me either. I had never once entertained the robbery gone wrong. Think how stupid that is. They go into the house. They're looking around. They're looking around. They're looking around. They're looking around. Oh my God, we could take this, 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 and this, and this, and this, but let's not do that. Let's just take her. Okay, we didn't take anything else in the house, but we're going to take Nancy out of the house. And then we're just going to kill her somewhere because we don't have, it's so stupid. It doesn't make any sense at all. You get it? But I see what you're saying up there, Tide 5604. I just don't. I think that would be in the nut job theory. So originally, when there was a nut job theory, that made sense until we heard what was on the 2 ransom notes. The revelation of the ransom notes is really, I said it on the show then. I said it changes everything. Like it's a massive shift when we knew precisely what was on the second one. So the part about so in the nut job theory, torment, yes, you could see, maybe somebody, I don't know, it's kind of a weird way to torment somebody by saying you're sorry. I mean, I think if it was a nut job theory, you would put the first one out there to create the fear and never follow it up with anything that gave any relief at all. And so I don't buy the nut job theory is gone, forget it. I'm telling you guys, it's someday somebody's going to say it from the FBI that second ransom note is sort of this, it's an amazing thing because it eliminates, it very likely eliminates, like when you know that exists, it eliminates a lot of theories that you could come up with. If you only had that first ransom note, you'd be sort of in a, well, who knows what that, why, were they just making it look like a ransom? But you end up getting that second one, and it matched the behavior of the families. Isn't that interesting? Like it was sort of like this back and forth a little bit. The ransom note. Then Savannah responds with, hey, we need proof of life. Then they hear nothing. The brother says, hey, we need proof of life. And there's really a lot of emotion in those. And it got to one of the abductors. And they put out one, hey, she didn't make it. We didn't intend to do this. We didn't realize how sick she really was. We buried her with nature. Sorry about that. Boom, and they got the hell out of Dodge. They're when I say get out of Dodge, I mean they ended they're not dealing with the case anymore. They buried her somewhere, and they're done, but they felt necessary. I mean, look, it doesn't make them less bad, okay? I'm just trying to explain it as a human being out there. If you're literally somebody that's just abducting somebody for ransom, you might care about life, right? Killers don't. They're just like, yeah, screw you, like these, freaking gang members and shit. They don't care. They just kill people and move on to the next. If you're abducting somebody for ransom, while it's kind of brutal in itself that you're taking somebody out of their bed at night that's old and stuff like that. It's not, it's not pleasant. They're not nice. They're shitty people doing it, but that doesn't mean that they wanted her to die, And as a matter of fact, they wanted her to live because they were going to return her back to get the money. No, it doesn't. Astrology. Man, are you one of those nutters that watches like JLR or something like that? Are you one of those kind, or the detective that goes out and tries to blame the family all the time? Are you one of those people? God, I sure hope not. That'd be embarrassing for you. Let's see. Hard to yeah, that's if, we guess that there's 2 people because of the walkie-talkie. I think I was going to put that up. No, that's more just that there's 2 people. The we. Didn't I put that in there? See, the we, though, is just that there's two people. And that doesn't make... The fact that there's multiple people doesn't make it a ransom. A kidnapping for ransom. It just means that you have proof that there's two people. The we and the walkie-talkie. Oh, you have an IQ of... Oh, God, anybody that says they have an IQ of 180 has an IQ of 6. Okay. That means your brain does not work. I guarantee it. I have an IQ of 80. If you have to tell people you have an IQ of 80, it's likely 96. My God. Who are these people, man? God, I have an IQ of 180. If you have an IQ of 180, you wouldn't say the dumb stuff that you've said in here tonight. I can tell you that right now. Yeah, all right. I have an IQ of 180, you guys. Didn't you see? You don't have to remove those comments, you guys. I want them out there for the world to see. You just made it so they don't even know what I'm talking about. I have an IQ of 180. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yes, everybody, the second ransom note allows a judge to go, look, she's not alive. See how it says it right there? Let's go ahead and disperse the funds. I guess there is obsessed guy with a police scanner and all the notes are fake. I don't know what you're talking about. Qued. Nobody knows what you're saying. You're stupid, dude. That is why you have a channel with less than 1,000 views on video. Normal people would not wait time for $3. God, you're dumb. Your IQ, look at, why don't you have your IQ at like 186? How come it's right at 180? You know, like right on the dot, you know? Crazy people. Crazy people. I don't have any videos with 1,000 views. What is so difficult to understand with what I said? I don't know, man. Because your sentence isn't really anything. You go, I guess there is one obsessed guy with a police scanner and all the notes are fake. That doesn't mean anything. You didn't. It doesn't. That's a horrendous sentence. Try it again, though, maybe. You're an old, lonely, brain-dead gray. Oh, my God. What a joke. And look at, look at your name in there. Astrology for Success. Does anybody believe in that shit? You do. Anybody with an IQ of 180 isn't doing astrology, all right? That's somebody with about a 110. And let's see, we got this one right here. Here she is right here. Here's Astrology for Success. Here we go, everybody. Okay, I'm going to get out my spirit box. Stupid, delicate little buddy. Skipper. Oh, Skipper. Man. Hey, everybody, join us. Astrology for Success. Hey, what a great idea. I've got an idea. I'm going to join Astrology for Success. You know why? Because they've got 180 IQ. And they're doing astrology. Whew. Wow. Unbelievable. Anyways, why these people are crazy, man. Nobody was copying anything, Qued. Your brain isn't working correctly. Good luck, though. All right? Good luck. Yeah, I didn't have a sentence structure right before you. I haven't typed in here in a long time. Can you just type a better sentence, Qued? Just try it. Give it a shot. And then maybe I'll know what you're talking about regarding they were just listening to scanner audio. Okay, so you're saying that on the scanner audio it said something like, hey, the cell phone's on the ground. Ooh, write that down. I can pretend that. Give me a break. Yeah, trolls everywhere. You know, those ones with an IQ of 180. Those are always the best. Hey, you don't have to... We got to keep them going here, you guys. That's crazy, man. Mama. That's what Annie said. Mama. What does that have to? What are you saying? You're a Virgo. Hey, Virgo him into success out there. Okay. You know what? By the way, what kind of an astrologer would be that bitchy in a chat? Have you ever heard of that before in your life? Jesus. Man, wouldn't you just be so in tune with nature? Oh, just roll with the, My God. I still think the kidnapping was organized by AI. I don't. Yeah, I think that's ridiculous. Why would they have a scanner if they had a lookout person? Well, they're talking about a scanner, like, to get information, I guess, I still think the kidnapping was Oh, you mean AI did it themselves and sent robots out? Yeah, I get it. You called it a radio to talk to a second person. I called it a scanner. Well, you don't talk to people on a scanner, Qued. You talk to people on a walkie-talkie. You ever thought of that? God, where are these people coming from, man? Wow. No wonder our country's in trouble. A lot of weird-ass people out there. I can tell you that right now. All I liked was that Lisa Belson, who was not chatting, came back in and laughed. That's what I was looking for. That was good. At least I thought she did a minute ago. I don't know if it was. Didn't she come back in and laugh? I thought I saw her. I know Phyllis did. Or maybe she took off. Oh, there she was. Yeah, I thought I saw you up there. Let's see. Yeah, there you are. Yeah, see. I just got some laughs out of it. Hey, cool. I'm glad you like it, Michigan 1776. Yeah, what we try to do on this channel is just use logic, reason, and common sense. And when you get people that come in who pretend they're using logic, reason, and common sense, it doesn't really go well. Especially when they say they have an IQ of 180 and then their username is that they are a tarot card reader or astrology, whatever the hell it is. Astrology for success. What a joke. God, what an embarrassing. Jeez, you got to be kidding me. It's like, in true crime, there's these people out there that they use spirit boxes. Have you guys seen those idiots? It looks like, it's like this. So spirits, tell me where I might be able to find a body. Oh, do you hear that? It said, look. It said at a hut. Listen. At a hut. So it's at a hut. It's like a little hut out there. Stupid. Oh, stupid. It said stupid. Okay, so it's at a hut, and then it's stupid, so we don't go with that. Now, what does it say after that? Come on, you guys. Listen. Stupid. Okay, forget it. Oh, I heard bat shit right at the end. Did you guys hear that? Absolutely said that. It said bat shit. Now listen again. Listen really clear. I think I'd be pretty good at this. I'd be really good at the spirit boxes. I swear to God. That would be freaking amazing. Bat shit. Oh, God, this is great, man. Oh, shit. I mean, that's exactly what these people do, right? Yeah, that's right. By a body of water, There's a mountain somewhere near. You know, it's always a body of water. Yeah, oh my God, there's a creek there. Yeah, there's creeks everywhere, you fool. Yeah, and let me just ask you this. Can I ask you guys something? Listen to this again. Listen again. Listen again. Okay, so people use like an app. You know, that should be a clue, by the way, that, you know, if you're using an app, you're likely not listening to spirits. Just a clue. You might want to look at that, IQ 180. But I always say this. You know, you got these spirits out there, if you will. And how come they speak so terribly? I mean, how come this doesn't happen? Hey, tell me where the bodies are. And then, lo and behold, a spirit comes on and goes, well, Gray, they are 6 miles down Highway 27. You take a right on Jones Street, take a left on Patterson, and then right there on the right side of the road, about 6 feet in under a bush of blackberries, you'll find the body. Hey, well, thank you. Instead of, I did not I mean, what a joke. Why don't these people talk to us a little bit better? Hey, spirits, if you're really trying to help, could you get rid of the noise and just tell us where the damn bodies are, okay? Thank you very much. We need to manifest resolution. Let's see. I mean, what voice in here can you pick out? Okay, listen, spirits. Can you get the other ones to not chime in? I just want to hear one of you. Oh my God, this is so ridiculous. Oh, I mean, this is what they do. Can you believe that, though? Like in the true crime world, they do this stuff. Let's see. There is zero evidence that there were two people. You're wrong, Qued. On video, there isn't. On video, there isn't. Yeah, we've already gone over this 50 times. The evidence that there's more than one person is that it appears that there could be a walkie-talkie in the. I say it doesn't matter what you tell Qued. He doesn't give a shit. So he doesn't give a damn if you show him something. He'll just go, yeah, no, that's it. So you look at this right here, and it looks like that could be a walkie-talkie sort of shaped like that little antenna sticking out of the pocket. Okay, so there's maybe a walkie-talkie, but they use the word we in both ransom notes. And it makes it a hell of a lot easier to be able to pull up the vehicle. Somebody else is a lookout, and you would just click on the walkie-talkie if there was a problem, and he'd know, oh shit, I got to get out of here and run out the back or something. And they use we. So that when you say there's no evidence, you're lying to people, because we means there's more than one. Would you agree with that? Would you agree, Qued? It's not wishful thinking. The word we is evidence. It's on the ransom notes. Okay? It's just your wishful thinking that we doesn't mean that. You think it means sort of the British we, like, or whatever the hell, I'm not sure if it's British, but, like, we are, like, I'm just talking about myself, but it's we, like humanity, what a joke. I'm not assuming the notes are real. The FBI is telling us they're real, Qued. You got about 30 more seconds of your complete bullshit answers. Nothing you're saying is interesting. It's not compelling. It's not interesting. It's not like you're not getting any good points or anything like that. The FBI has already come forward and told us that the ransom notes, they believe, they said that they may be real. I think that they're saying they believe that they are real. And I think the source that Harvey has, because Harvey said what his source said, was that they're more likely than not. And I think the reality is that they really absolutely believe that they're real. That's why they've put all their resources into and believe that the working theory is that there was an abduction or kidnapping for ransom. Okay? Really pretty obvious stuff. If you don't want to believe that, you can go do something else. Oh, the royal we. Hey, I was almost close, right? Nancy? I was pretty close. Hey, why don't we see if we can get, you guys can do 5 more gifted memberships in here. Because we really didn't do well on the backs end. We had the one coffee from Cecil, but other than that, that was it. Oh, although right at the last second there, we got another one. All right, well, thank you. Right when I said that, another one came in. That's funny. What are the odds of that? Okay, so you're incorrect, Qued. Good luck, though. Good luck to you. Maybe you can sell that garbage somewhere else. Let's see. Yeah, Qued, maybe they are a new type of person that calls themselves they, them. Yeah. We. Yeah, they're a we. I go by we, okay? You might say they, them. I go by we. Okay, what would we like for breakfast? I don't know what you want for breakfast. Well, you said I have to call you we, so I'm not really saying what I want for breakfast, but I got to say we when I'm referring to you. Okay, so if I ask you, hey, what do we want for breakfast? I'm not saying what we want as a whole. I just have to refer to you as that. Do you understand? Oh, I see what you're saying. Yes, I do. Okay. Okay, what do we want for breakfast? I don't know what you want. Oh, God, who's on first? So you see how we get stuck there? Yeah. Or I want to go by they. Hey, what do they want to eat? I don't know what they want to eat. Well, you told me to call you they. You see, you get stuck there. That's why it doesn't make sense, everybody. Do you understand? The FBI hasn't found her. I think you just admitted they didn't say they were 100% sure. No, they said, well, yeah, they're saying because they got to do CYA stuff that maybe the other one said more likely than not. I think that they absolutely believe the first one is real. If they didn't believe that, they just can't say it just in case there's something. They can't say this is 100. Look at that ransom note is 100%, and then they're stuck there. Okay, they have to leave a little bit of room for something. But I'll tell you this: they wouldn't have spent the entire time doing a ransom, a kidnapping for ransom. That's all they've looked at since that message came in. That's how they're investigating the case. Okay, maybe not. Might not be all they looked at, but that's what the case that they are looking at is a kidnapping for ransom. Now, as I said earlier in the show, if you are not going to call the case a kidnapping for ransom without receiving what you believe is a valid ransom note. It would have just been Nancy Guthrie appears to have been abducted. We don't know where she is. The fact that they got a ransom note is why they're looking at it as a kidnapping for ransom. Does that make sense to you, Qued, or are you going to quibble with that one too? Jim Lawn's pronouns are Qued. Qued and annoying. Oh, Jesus. Come on. Come on, you guys. Who's going to help support the channel here late in the evening here? We gotta have some good nights. We haven't had any great nights, you know, the ones that can make up for some other nights. That was pretty good, though, Jim. I got to give you credit for that one. Yeah. Well, I think it's stronger to say they believed in it enough to admit to that they are investigating the case as a abduction for ransom or kidnapping for ransom. Maybe I could put that what you just said up here, though, maybe. Hey, thanks, Dan. All right, there's one. Nancy got, and there's another one by Wild Bill Wassman, the legendary bass fisherman. Hey, did you catch any today when you were out there? Nancy Guthrie was the target. KLD, another ransom note 1. Okay. FBI. Well, they didn't admit that, so I think it's obvious that they were coached, but they didn't say that when they were asked. They just said that they're there for support, but so we don't know. I would say that they did coach him, but let's see. That device looks like it was photoshopped. What device? What are you talking about, Inner Groove? What are you talking about? This thing right here? It is Photoshop. Yeah. I'm talking about this thing right here. I'm just trying to compare it. It's sticking, like if you look at it, God, where do these people come from? It's a transparency PNG file, but see the thing sticking in the right there. Look at that. You don't think that looks similar right there? That the thing in his pocket could very well be a walkie-talkie that's sort of like that. My God, where do these people come from? Okay, Qued. Okay, the FBI hams, they've called things. Okay, yeah, okay. All right, here you got it. Everything makes sense in this case. Let's just do it again. All right. Nancy Guthrie was the target. Nothing was stolen except Nancy herself, which is an abduction. There was expirated blood outside the front door. Or the expirated blood outside the front door means she was alive when exiting. That means, they had her alive leaving the house. And then a vehicle was moved where the removed camera would have seen the car used to transport Nancy. Number 2, ransom note was received by KOLD, another local station, after 5 p.m. on February, and a local station, after 5 p.m. on February 2nd. Ransom Note 1 was also received by TMZ on February 3rd. Savannah and her siblings give a plea for proof of life in response to the first and only ransom note on February 4th. And I'm talking about from that source, right? Cameron, Savannah's brother, put out, and then Savannah and her siblings give a plea, so they did that after the ransom note came out on the 2nd and 3rd. Then they came out with their plea on the 4th to get some information, like, proof of life. And then her brother said the same thing. They want proof of life on February 5th. Then that same day, later in the day, that's when ransom note number 2 came out. Seemingly responding to both Savannah and the brothers' messages. And that's when they said, you know what, Nancy died and was buried with nature. We did not fully grasp the seriousness of her physical condition. We never intended to hurt her. That was not our intention. She perished shortly after she was taken. We believe it was heart-related. Nothing you could have done could have changed the outcome. We're truly sorry. February 7th, Savannah and her siblings do the Instagram where they say, we understand. They're responding to this, meaning we understand that she's not alive, that she was buried with nature, and they want to know where they can find her so that they can live in peace. And I said that all the way back when this came out, that note. Revelations about the 2 ransom notes with specific information about amounts, followed by another admitting that Nancy was not alive and that even after Savannah paid it, wouldn't have mattered, and she's buried with nature. Number 9, Harvey from TMZ challenged a June 30th, 2026 Reuters report that stated that the ransom notes were fake. Harvey's sources on July 1st, 2026, then told him that the first two notes were more likely than not real. He was also told that the secondary note writer, looking for a Bitcoin, was more likely than not fake. Then on the point number 10, the FBI on July 1st, 2026, was forced to clarify the conflicting FBI sources of Reuters and TMZ, and had FBI Phoenix put out a clarifying statement saying that the ransom notes may be real and continue to investigate the case as a kidnapping for ransom. And the only reason they would do that is if they got a genuine ransom letter, and that's why they're focused on the case like that. Okay, there you go. I don't know if I can explain it any better. If you don't want to believe it, then you just don't want to believe it. It's just what it is. You can go bury your head in the sand and go watch, JLRs of the world, and just be fed a bunch of garbage on a daily basis and believe it. All right, that's all you got to do. It's fun. You should have taken that $5 and set it aflame. I just don't understand why they would give investigators massive piece of info for free. Who? What piece of information? What are you talking about? I don't know what that means. Yeah, two-way radio. Yeah. I said that up there, Jason. The we and the walkie-talkie. What do you mean that they're two suspects? I don't know how your sentence. Why they would give investigators a massive... Oh, you mean saying we? I don't know. It's just like they're just talking. They probably didn't even think about it, to be honest with you. They just typed in, yeah, we didn't, you might say, here's the thing. It's possible one person can do a abduction for ransom. Yeah, one person could do it. We've already gone through the nut job theory. The person can do all these things by themselves. It's just not as convenient at all, and it also puts the car in front of the house a lot longer, stuff like that. So, it's not impossible that one person did it. But you go with we, and maybe and also it sort of didn't make sense. So here's the thing. Remember when he was wearing his backpack? He's wearing a backpack, right? And then a car shows up later there. But why didn't he just leave his backpack in the car until you went and got the car and moved it up there? See, what it tells me is that he had the backpack on, and then he goes into the house. He's just sort of around in the area, and he's just communicating with this other person when he can, and then he goes into the house after it's all clear, and he's got the backpack to do whatever he's doing in the home. God, what a nut job. No, a nut job doesn't do that. Yeah, you see, here's what the deal is with everybody. All these super sleuths out there think that these people are idiots. Okay, I don't think they're idiots at all. This guy looked like he was really calm and relaxed. He went up he knew he was going to remove the camera. He goes up there. It's probably easy to do, and he realized, you know what, I've got these gloves on. Let me see if there's something else I can pry that off with. Grabs a plant, curls it into a loop, walks over there, and he pulls it off. What makes him stupid? I mean, he's not a bumbling anything. He just looks, and they haven't been caught yet. So obviously they knew what they were doing, The part that she didn't live, but they just didn't realize how, fragile Nancy was. No, that's incorrect, Qued. Your brain doesn't work. You're just trying to throw stuff out every second. There's a person in a car, but he's going into the house by himself. That's why he had whatever he had in the backpack there. What does the car have to do with anything in that case? What I was saying was, if he had a backpack on and he was a sole person, he wouldn't have needed the backpack on at that time, because he has to go back to the car to move it. So that means when he went to the car to move it by himself, he would been wearing the backpack while he got in the car, which is almost impossible to drive that sucker. The former FBI streamer commentators all say Porch Guy was bumbling. Yeah, they all say that because they think they're just so sleuthy and cool. They're bullshit. I totally agree. They all say the same shit over and over and over again. They're always bumble. They just try to make it seem like they're so... Oh, this guy, man, he doesn't know what he's doing. Yeah, they're full of crap. Yeah, but when he moved the car, okay, quit. I'm gonna time you out, man. You know why? Because you're not listening to the counters. You just keep blabbing away. So maybe come back in a little bit. Good luck. All right. Once you get over and over again, when you have points and their rebuttal is just totally throws out what didn't even consider what you just said. That's when I time people out. I can't stand it. It's a complete waste of time at that point. That means nothing's being, there's no progress. He carried everything on him because he was a one-man team. Right, but I just told you he had to move the car to the front of the house, right? So if he had that backpack on him, when he got to the car, he'd have to remove the backpack, get in the car, and then put it back on again. It's just doesn't make sense. There's no reason that he needed the backpack unless he's there and there's somebody else that's going to be moving the car up. Doesn't that make more sense? Right. Huh. They knew what they were doing. Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, I mean, Michigan, 1776, like I said before, we do logic, reason, and common sense. And that's why people like Qued, Was don't work out very well, because they keep coming back with something less likely and then completely avoiding things that destroy their theories. That's the part that it's just not worth talking to. It's not, there's no production of that. You're not getting anywhere. That's right, Jessica Schubach. Don't piss off the iguana, they said. I still think it's a tool. Okay, Jesus. Simon, can you stop with your little tool thing? It's ridiculous that you keep saying that. It's embarrassing. And it's embarrassing for you, nobody else. You keep saying the same thing like a robot. It's just ridiculous. Okay, tell me the type of tool it is. Go ahead. What is it? And if you say pliers, I'm going to time you out too. Okay? Let's see. I still think it's a tool. God. What kind of a tool is it? What is it? I know what it is. It's a magnifying glass. Holy shit, you guys. It's a look at this. Magnifying glass. Holy crap. Look at this, everybody. It's one of these. It's just flipped over. He was spying on... These people are crazy, man. I could see the argument for a screwdriver. Where? How's that a screwdriver? How's there an argument for a screwdriver there? Yeah. If it looked like a screwdriver, I'd tell you. I really would. But he didn't use it to take the camera off, Simon. He used the plant. See how your logic doesn't make sense there? He used a plant. If he had something in his pocket to take the camera off, he would have used it, right? He curled a plant and yanked it off. Hey, that's a good one. Call him Sheerluck Holmes. By Brooke Rose, 57. Very good, very good. I know, but then why even say it then, Julian? See, here's the thing, is why say, I could see an argument for a screwdriver, but the pattern isn't right. Well, why even bring it up then? You see what I'm saying? That's the kind of stuff. It's like, what difference does it make? Like, why say, I could see the argument for a screwdriver as some sort of flashlight, but the pattern isn't right. Right, I know. So you've already noticed that the pattern isn't right. So that means in your mind, you don't see the argument anymore because that's not what it is. You get it? That's how we do it over here. It's easy. Let's see. We got, I'm thirsty for a screwdriver now. I feel like having a drink. I need one. You know, I don't even want a drink right now. I need one. You know what I'm saying? Dealing with all this crap. I got 2 on Brooke's joke. Hey, there you go. Look at that. Brooke got a joke in, and Jim Lawn. Thanks, Brooke. It is wild. It's just like, you know. I mean, I know what you're saying, Julian, but at that point, you don't even have to bring it up, you know. Okay, sometimes there's different candles and stuff. I don't know. But if you had a screwdriver, I mean, how about this? If he had a screwdriver to remove the camera, how come he didn't use it? He used the looped plant. So what it means is the thing in his pocket is nothing he would be using to remove the camera. Can we agree with that? That whatever is in his pocket is not there to remove the camera from the door. Getting caught or... Yeah, I don't know. I think they probably feel pretty safe about how they sent those messages. I think it's crazy. I hope the FBI is sort of preserving whatever digital information that they do have, and then maybe in the future, or, you know, if they keep digging around, it might lead somewhere. But, I mean, you know how, like, the news channel said that they have... I think this is interesting. I think TMZ has the best chance when they got the first ransom note the next day, that the way they got it has the best shot at identifying the person. The news stations seem to have that anonymous tip area where you send in a tip, and apparently it's like bulletproof or something. But I bet you they even were connected to a VPN when they did that. So then it's like, oh boy. Man, that's brutal at that point. I mean, I don't know how you... Yeah, what does that have to do with anything, Inner Groove? How does that match? You're looking for a crazy case, the Son of Sam case, and because the letters he sent had no truth in them, therefore... That's what these are? I mean, come on. I don't know. The second ransom note is the key, you guys. Let's see. We are cool here. Yeah. All I have is cooking sherry. That means you went and looked. That's hilarious. Songbird went out and looked, you guys, and it said, you know what? Damn it. All I have is cooking sherry. That's pretty good. I gotta admit, like that's pretty. I was picturing her. She goes into the kitchen. Where is that damn stuff? Ah, crap. And then picks up a bottle, looks at it. Oh, it's just that damn cooking sherry. Yeah, I see. Boom. I told you. Yep. Where's Marty, man? Maybe I'll have one of those red breasts. Those are good. What I'm getting at is these messages. Okay, well, you know.
2-4 bird emoji.
I think they read them and they make sense. That's why they took them at face value. That's what they're saying. The first one had information in it that was real. That is how things were left in the house, etc. They believe it. You know, maybe there's some elements in there like we'll bring her back to Tucson. I could see that one definitely being something that they would change. So it seems like they're not there. I mean, don't you think it's interesting? See, for me, the fact that they put we'll bring her back to Tucson is almost evidence that they're in Tucson. That's how I would look at that if I was the FBI. If they said, hey, after we get the ransom, we'll bring her back to Tucson. What that means to me is they are in Tucson. And they're saying that so that they hope that police won't be looking in Tucson. And then they'll be looking outward when they're really right there. I think that would be something that they would almost definitely change. The we part is just sort of like you're just chatting, you know, typing. You might not think about that. But the part about, oh, we'll bring her, you know, that's, you don't want to give out where your location is. So I wouldn't take that serious at all. You have vodka and you're not afraid to use it? Yeah. That's all I have left in the cupboard. Cooking sherry. That's funny. Are you guys nervous at all about some sort of an attack on the 4th of July tomorrow? I don't know why, but I'm nervous about it. 250th, you got all these attacks that have already almost happened anyways, and you could just see these nut jobs trying to pull something off. Makes me nervous. No? Well, you weren't until I said it. Okay, but I am a little bit worried just because of, you know, I hope to God it's not. Like, let's all pray that, you know, that nothing like that happens. But, man, it's been such a crazy year and a half here, hasn't it? Well, yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make you. Yeah. Yeah, I'm totally, like, I don't know, makes me nervous. And the crowds are going to be so big, it's, like, easy for them. Although a lot of these guys, they're trying to go after the big wigs, you know. So hopefully they're all protected and they wouldn't do anything to regular people. Yeah, I mean, you had the one at the correspondence dinner. You had the one recently that they foiled, where on the, you know, that fight night thing, they were going to do that. I mean, my God, you guys, they're just everywhere all the time. I'll sleep through it. Yeah. Get those bottles of sherry out. Yeah, it's like, you know, the Trump and the whole thing. I mean, these people are committed, these wackos out there. It's like the perfect day for them to do it, to ruin the 250. You know, it's like, it's exactly what they would want to do. How dare this president be in charge when we're having our 250th? It's buried with nature. But yeah, I mean, I was corrected on that today. Let me ask ChatGPT about why that one. I'm not, you know, the thing is just because ChatGPT says something, it's just kind of an interesting thing to chat with, you know. So it's like they're not really, you know, it's interesting sometimes some of the stuff it comes up with. But let's see if I said in the Nancy Guthrie second ransom note, it said buried with nature. What do you make of that? And do you find that to be a strange way of saying that? Let's just see what it says.
I'm going to separate two things here: what that phrase literally suggests, and what it may reveal about the writer's mindset or language style.
It's looking through a lot of different things. Yes, I find it strange. Let's see.
I'm going to separate two things here: what that phrase literally suggests, and what it may reveal about the writer's mindset or language style. Yes, I find it strange, but the exact wording matters. The strongest local reporting that presented the words as direct quotation said, "She perished shortly after she was taken. She is buried in nature now. We are truly sorry." Some other reports paraphrased that as buried with nature. The local Arizona report specifically presented buried in nature as the direct quote. www.asfamily.com. My honest reaction to www.asfamily.com. My honest reaction to buried in nature. That is not how an ordinary American English speaker would normally describe disposing of a body.
Buried in
A person
nature.
would more naturally say,
So it does say buried in nature. I was corrected on that, and but it says buried in nature.
"We buried her. She was buried in the desert. Her body is buried somewhere. We left her in the wilderness. But she is buried in nature now" is abstract and almost poetic. It does not describe a place. It describes a state of being. And I think that is important. What the phrase does psychologically. The writer avoids saying, "We buried her body." That sentence forces the writer to confront the physical act. Instead, "She is buried in nature now." That transforms the event into something almost peaceful. Nancy has been returned to nature. It softens the image. It removes the writer from the...
You know what's interesting about that? That's that PK sews it up thing that she sent in. People use perished instead of died to emphasize, down here it's interesting, it says. The specific groups most likely to use perished include journalists and news and broadcasters. Reporters use it to maintain formal distance. And historians and novelists. And then didn't it just say right in here, abstract and poetic. That's crazy, right? And you know what's interesting? Doesn't it seem like somebody who might write abstractly and poetic and is sort of like more of a journalist, novelist type person, be the type that might send a second note to apologize? That is kind of interesting, isn't it? If you look at it like that. That is kind of interesting. It sort of shows that they're sort of, maybe educated a little bit, and that's why they feel bad, because they're like a normal person that thought, I'll take a life risk to get a lot of money, and it didn't work. Yeah, well, this is the abduction for ransom. So I don't know if they'd be enamored or anything. And this could be a female. See, I'm thinking this is a female that wrote these. I think there's... here's my theory. It could be two guys, whatever, right? It could even be one person, honest to God. I just think there's two. And my opinion is it's a guy and a girl. This is my just sort of a feeling that I have. It doesn't mean anything other than it's my feeling. Okay, so this is complete just theorizing based on just the way things are worded, etc. Okay, it's not like when we say logic, reason, and common sense. This is just what I feel here. Okay, so I think that there are a guy and a girl that were probably a couple. They're like between the age of 25 and 30. They maybe are a little bit, they're probably, pretty smart, tech savvy. They don't have a lot of money though. So they thought they devised this plan to abduct Nancy Guthrie just to try to get money. They did the whole Bitcoin thing. They got everything all set up. Everything they've done has worked perfectly, except that Nancy didn't make it. She didn't make it out of there. And that's what, after seeing the messages by Savannah and everybody else and how they are responsible for hurting them, the female likely wanted to communicate, and that's where they said those things. Okay, that's just a feeling. Could be right, could be wrong, don't know. It's just what I think. All right, it just sort of makes sense. Yeah, but a lot of things would make sense if once we know the answer, it'll all make sense. Huh? Well, I mean, their plan was successful. It worked. Nancy died, so they didn't make it to the end. But everything that they put in there worked. They weren't able to be tracked by their communications. They didn't get tracked by the Bitcoin address. Now, had they taken the money out, they may have been caught. But I think if it was an abduction for ransom and she lived, they would have taken the risk, let's say, right? Like, let's say you're going to get $4 million. Your downside is you get like 5 to 20 years in prison for the abduction. But she lived, right? And, then it's like, how do I get the Bitcoin and then get it really quick and move it around and, get it somewhere where the FBI can't track me? That was their next part. I bet you they had that plan pretty well. It didn't get there because she died and they didn't, it's such a weird thing, right? Like if she had lived, we'd probably be having a whole different story here. They'd just be looking, they may have been already arrested now, or they'd be looking for the people who abducted Nancy Guthrie and terrorized her, mentally for hours. Yeah, it could be one of those. But what do you guys think of that? My little theory there. That's just what I think. So what I think is that they planned it really well. They're confident in what they're doing. They probably even, I wouldn't be surprised if they burglarized a few homes here and there just to kind of test it out, kind of like the East Area Rapist guy did. Just kind of, like they were just confident. He knew what he was doing. He wasn't nervous and anything. He was 84-year-old. It's, middle of the night. Nobody's around. And then you have just the helper as the girlfriend or whatever. And then she's driving the car. And that's all her part is. And then maybe she helps a little bit getting her into the car or something like that. I don't know. That's just what I think. I guess we'll see. What do you guys think? If you were to guess, how about you, Phyllis Watson? What do you think? Throw out a guess. Yeah, I think they're technically savvy, as I said a minute ago. And maybe they just didn't, I don't know, maybe they were struggling for some reason and they wanted to just get a big payday. You can have another drink? Okay. I think the man and the woman theory is not bad. You know? Because the way that's written, the second note, has that feeling. And then, as we talked about the other night on the show, even the first one saying, hello, Savannah. We have Nancy. Like, who the hell, what kind of a guy in a ransom note says, hello, Nancy, or hello, Savannah? You know, like you would just go, we have Nancy. We need $4 million by this date. We saw, okay, to prove who we are, there was a watch on the floor. The backlight was broken. The phone was right there. This was here. This was there. Bing, 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 bing. All right? So we want the money. However, Nancy's already dead at this time, but they were just going for a Hail Mary, hoping that that was enough. But then as soon as proof was asked for, they realized, okay, we're not going to be able to do it now. And then after seeing what they were saying, one of them felt bad, and they wrote that second one. I mean, to me, that just seems so likely that that's how it went. Now, it could be something totally weird and crazy, but there's no evidence of anything like that. The FBI believes that they're real. Yeah, I think it'll be solved. Yeah. I hope so, anyways. I'd like to get the case off the books, to be honest with you. It's, you know. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's what they do have. They have a video of the person. I'm surprised that haven't they been able to sort of, figure out like where were some of these items purchased? Can we look at the camera footage of, where this took place? Like that hasn't led them somehow to something. I mean, maybe they are doing that. Oh, you dreamed it was a mother and a son, huh? You mean like the people that were the SWAT team arrested that one night? Yeah, I don't know. Wouldn't you love to be in on the investigation just to know where they're at? Thanks, Karen. Sometimes it feels like a ghost town in here. A mother, son. Yeah, what? And then the mother must be like a teacher or an ex-teacher. Maybe it's like a 55-year-old mother and a 20-something-year-old son, and she used to be a school teacher. How's that? And then Phyllis is going to call up the, a little bit later, give a hold of the astrology lady that was in here. Dreams and astrology. How to become successful. Well. It's weird, Simon Henderson? You have some of the dumbest ideas that anybody puts out. So it's always weird when you're the one that sort of mocks and makes fun of another one. Because you've had no good ideas the entire time. But I appreciate you commenting. Thank you. Maybe one of these days you'll come up with something. Yeah, put it in the chat GPT. Maybe it'll interpret a dream. Let's see. Hey, Chat GPT, my friend said that the abductors were a mother and son. Let's see. Mother and son. She got that information in a dream. What do you think? Okay, what's it gonna say, Phyllis? What's it gonna say? Here we go. I should do the bro mode. We haven't done that in a long time, have we? Oh yeah, maybe she was an ex-employee or something. Honestly, Gray, I would treat that as an interesting idea, not information. Let's see. Right.
Honestly, Gray, I would treat it as an interesting idea, not information. Your friend may feel very strongly about it because a vivid dream can create that strange sense of, I didn't invent this, it came to me. But there is no publicly established evidence right now that the abductors were a mother and son, or even that investigators have identified a specific pair of offenders. The FBI's public position remains that Nancy's whereabouts are unknown and the investigation is active. The public footage identifies an armed individual at the house, but authorities have not publicly named the offender or offenders. FBI 2 plus FBI plus 2.
Yeah. They have now admitted that okay. The FBI has admitted they are investigating the case as a kidnapping for ransom. I'm not pushing back.
You're right to push back.
I didn't push back.
I'm checking the exact FBI wording so I can correct that part precisely and explain what it changes.
It doesn't change anything.
Yes, you are right, Gray. I got that wrong in my previous answer. The FBI has now explicitly stated, this case continues to be investigated as a kidnapping for ransom case. The FBI also said that while some ransom demands have been determined to be illegitimate extortion attempts, other ransom demands may potentially be legitimate and are still being investigated as such. Reuters +1. So I should not have said there was no established evidence of a ransom motive. The correct distinction is, the FBI believes the underlying crime is a kidnapping for ransom. That does not mean the specific second note containing buried in nature was genuine. According to Reuters, the 3 widely publicized messages, including the second message reporting Nancy's death, were assessed as not credible. But the FBI simultaneously says there are other ransom demands that may still be legitimate. Reuters. And honestly, that makes the case more interesting because the FBI apparently has information beyond those 3 famous communications that keeps them firmly in the ransom kidnapping lane. So going back to your friend's mother and son dream.
No. Reuters, the sources at Reuters were incorrect. And it's the first 2 ransom notes that have the FBI treating it as a kidnapping for ransom. Yeah. So they're sort of taking Reuters as it's not though, Inner Groove. Okay. Home invasion murder.
Yes,
That's bullshit.
you are right. I had it backward. And my last answer made the same mistake again by trying to preserve the Reuters version. The correct picture based on the newer CBS reporting is...
At least it's honest.
The first 2 notes are the ones investigators believe are likely legitimate. CBS reported on July 2nd that the ransom communications fall into 3 categories, with the 2 notes sent within the first week of her disappearance being the category investigators believe is likely legitimate. CBS News. That means, Note 1, February 2nd, the actual ransom demand for millions in Bitcoin. It reportedly contained non-public details from inside Nancy's home, including the location of her Apple Watch and information about a rear floodlight. Those details caused investigators to take the note seriously.
Yep.
CBS News. Note 2, February 6th, the Nancy died,
accurate.
perished, buried in nature communication. The FBI determined it came from the same IP address as the first note. CBS News. And those 2 notes are central to why this continues to be investigated as a kidnapping for ransom, not some.
I guess it could have been. I'm not sure where I got the 5th from. I mean, the 7th is when Savannah came out. Oh, hold on a second. When was Ransom... I'm almost positive I'm right. When was Ransom Note 2 given to KOLD? Now they're saying the 6th here. God, there's no way. Man, it's still saying that all over the place. Kind of makes sense with the 7th being the... I have to change that. I was almost positive that was the 5th, though. I wonder if my timeline has that. Anyways, let me fix that. Okay, February 6th. Okay, that works a little bit better. But it's weird. That means they, on the 4th and 5th, they saw those messages. And then on the 6th, they send that in. And then... No, that was correct. That was the 5th. This was the one that needs to be the 6th. Okay. All right. So that's in there. I don't know. Man, that's so weird. That was in my head. I don't know why that was. I had the 5th on there. So it's the 2nd and the 6th. Nah, received what appeared. That's different. Okay. A second ransom note was sent on February 6th, which KLD confirmed on social media it received. So that's... On February 3rd, TMZ reported it also received, okay, that's right, the 3rd, an alleged letter demanding money. That same day, reporters for the Arizona Republic witnessed blood later confirmed to belong to Nancy Guthrie on her front porch. Officials later revealed that these initial notes provided 2 deadlines, one for 5 p.m. on Thursday. Oh, I guess the other one was February 5th. Maybe that's where February 5th is the other deadline, another on February 9th. February 4th, Guthrie's family acknowledges ransom note reports. Yep, we just did that. I like this. I have to save this one. February 5th, FBI addresses alleged note and announces an arrest. FBI Special Agent in Charge Heath Jahnke said during February 5th news conference, that's the last one, that the note which investigators reviewed did not provide proof of life. Right, so that was one from the 2nd, and included facts associated with a deadline, an Apple Watch, a floodlight, and a monetary value. Authorities also revealed that they had arrested a Southern California man. I think that's the guy that just pled guilty. Then February 5th, first ransom note deadline arrives. Savannah Guthrie's brother, Cameron, again, see on the 5th, he spoke on Instagram. Posted on February 5th, the day of the first deadline. Then right here it said, he said, we wanted to hear from you, we need proof. And then February 6th, ransom note claims Nancy Guthrie died. A second ransom note was sent on February 6th, which KLD, they're the only one that got it, confirmed on social media. It received. The FBI and the Pima County Sheriff's Department also confirmed they were investigating a new message, according to investigating a new message. Okay, so that's the second. Multiple outlets reported months later on June 22nd that the second note said Nancy Guthrie died after being kidnapped. And then February 7th is the We understand you now. We beg you. And then the 9th was the original ransoms. So basically, the original ransom note that said February 9th is your final deadline. These people, see, they put that out there thinking that Nancy might, she was supposed to live. And then they sent out the other one on the 6th, basically canceling all the rest of this stuff. On the 9th, you could still send it in. It canceled all that because she's not alive, and they're just trying to get the hell out of the case at this point. All right, you guys, let's see if we can get one more super chat run with some gifted memberships, you guys. I'm still sitting here 3 hours and 31 minutes in. It's been dead as a doornail. Massive lulls. That would be sweet. All right, let's see what this one says. FBI determines Nancy Guthrie kidnapping notes to be fake. Sources say that's that one. Let's see the one from 1 day ago. Is that still there? Admits sending fake. Okay. Probe remains. Okay, there you go. I want to see what they say about what they said. The FBI said on Wednesday it's still treating the disappearance of Today Show co-host Savannah Guthrie, elderly mother, as a kidnapping for ransom, despite determining that some purported... See, they're trying to... The way they worded that, to try to... Oh, see how we were kind of right, too? Despite determining that some purported ransom notes in the case were extortion bids. Right. They determined who those were. The 2 letters that you, Reuters, responded to were ones that you were wrong about, okay? Federal investigators had discounted as not credible 3 widely reported kidnapping-related messages in the Guthrie case, 2 of which had been described as ransom notes. In a statement on X the following day, the Phoenix FBI office said investigators have received an unspecified number of notes deemed to lack legitimacy over the 5 months. Some have been determined to be extortion. Oh, man, this is bullshit the way they... Do you see that right there? They never said that. God, see, Reuters is trying to do CYA here. This is garbage. Reuters, just admit it. You blew it, man. You blew it. Look at, in a statement on X the following day, the Phoenix FBI said investigators have received an unspecified number of notes deemed to lack legitimacy. The FBI and its task force partners have received several ransom notes over the course of the investigation. Some have been deemed to be extortion attempts without legitimacy. They said, look at the difference there. Hey, thanks, Karen. How about the rest of you guys? Let's go. Come on, let's have a good night here. In a statement on X the following day, the Phoenix FBI office said investigators had received an unspecified number of notes deemed to lack legitimacy. That's not what they said over here. They said some have been deemed to be extortion attempts without legitimacy. Okay, over here, I don't know, man. Come on, Reuters. Be better. Some have been determined to be extortion attempts without legitimacy. Other ransom demands may potentially be legitimate and are still being investigated as such. Are you going to explain yours? Okay, the first of 3 kidnapping-related notes initially reported by media being turned over to authorities set 2 deadlines for a... There isn't 3, Reuters. You're still messed up here. There are not 3 kidnapping-related notes. I mean, at one point there was 3, but the same guy that wrote the 3rd one has been communicating with TMZ for a long time. It was received by KOLD-TV, CBS affiliates in Tucson on February 2nd. Right, that's the first one. Last week's celebrity news site TMZ reported receiving a 3rd note from someone. See how stupid they are? I mean, Reuters, you haven't been following the case. TMZ reported that they received a note last week that was a continuation of like dozens of notes from the same person for a long time. Do you guys get what I'm saying here? I mean, what are you talking about, Reuters? You guys obviously aren't paying attention. Anyways, okay. So that's always a good sign to call it a day. Whenever it gets like that. All right. Well, thank you up there. We had Wild Bill Wassman. Right there, obviously. Wild Bill Wassman. Karen, Timothy Cecil, Allie Cake, 6 kids, Wild Bill Wassman, Karen, and then Dan. All right. But Green. Candace Owens said Savannah's story is off. Of course. Wild Bill Wassman, Allie Cake, 6 kids, UK. Lisa Valenzuela. What do you say to somebody that lives in the UK about 4th of July? Hey, sorry we won, you know. I'm just kidding. Lisa Valenzuela, Allie Cake, Nancy Druid, Wild Bill Wassman, Skeeters, Dan again, Allie Cake, Lisa Valenzuela, Wild Bill Wassman. Then we had Lisa Belson with $50 super chat. Then we had Southern Eek. And then we had Phyllis Watson gifted 5. Then Lisa Belson gifted 10. And then we had Lisa Valenzuela, 40 months. Then Phyllis Watson, Wild Bill Wassman, Allie Cake, Dan, Skeeters, and then Lisa Belson, I think did she gifted 5, right? And then Skeeters, Karen 777, and Wild Bill Wassman, Jim Lawn, Phyllis Watson. I think if that was my challenge, she matched mine. Wild Bill threw one in there as well. Then I did the 5. Then we had Dan, and then Wild Bill Wassman, Jim Lawn, Karen, Jim Lawn, Karen. Very cool. Awesome. Yeah, what's going on with Reuters there? That's the second day in a row they put out the wrong information. He didn't claim he got a third note. He claimed he got another note from the same person that he's been communicating with the whole time. Well, she wasn't dead when she was removed, Inner Groove. She wasn't already deceased when she was removed. You know why? Because there's expirated blood. She coughed up blood right there. So you're incorrect yet again. Anyways, did you guys find the show interesting? I think we have a nice little sort of, you know, I don't really call it, but I think I was going to call it a ledger. Oh, Lisa said, I saw a joke about chocolate the other day. Wasn't that funny? I just snickered. You get it? Snickered. That was pretty good. That was pretty good. Maybe there's another one like that. I just snickered. Hey, let's come up with one with payday. I like paydays, by the way, but something about peanuts and payday. Okay, because that peanuts can be money too, right? Like, you know, when I went to work, what was something? It was just they paid me peanuts. And then you say, I also like paydays. Hey, when I get paid, they pay me peanuts. And then the other person says, I like paydays too. Hey, I just came up with one. But we got to word it better than that. But, you know, something like that, right? Like, Yeah, at the end of the month, they pay me peanuts. Yes, I like paydays too. Come on, you can come up with a better one. Oh, thanks, Jason. Thanks for being in there and answering people's questions, etc. I do like, I'm just saying, somebody's going to have to come up with a funnier version. I think there's a way to do something with that. Elephants work for peanuts, but I like my paydays. My favorite gave you a good laugh before. 2 peanuts were walking down the streets. I was assaulted. As in salted peanuts. Yeah, there you go. There you go. All right. The fact they have not been able to track anything online, etc., I think they're organized. Yeah, that means that they're tech savvy. We've already went over that. They didn't. No, there's nobody. They didn't kill front porch guy. I think front porch guy was just part of that little team that went and abducted her. I don't think they were. There's no waiter chef shit that we keep hearing out there. Okay, there's no waiter, chef waiter situation. Okay. You can always tell when these people come from watching those people over here when they bring that up. Right, Jason? You can just tell right when they come in. Well, there's somebody else. They've already taken out the guy that was at the front door there, because the waiter, he was a waiter and then the chef had him taken out, Too many cooks in the kitchen, as it were. I don't want to see your comments above. Let's see. Porch guy looks young. Yeah, I think I said before, 25 to 30. Those two people. Well, if there's just one, it's still 25 to 30. But I think there might be a couple, a guy and a girl, that are that same age range. Kind of young, so they're not hardened killer types. They're just, Bonnie and Clyde. Hey, let's get some money, and didn't work. The only reason it didn't work is because Nancy died, and they didn't realize how sick she really was, or how fragile was really the term. Yeah, we have this cool map here, you guys. If you haven't seen it, see all these purples? Those are where the cameras are. I went around on Street View and found all the cameras. And so what's interesting is the map that Annie put out, she probably was communicating with cops, seems to kind of get through the area without really going near a camera. I mean, that's as close as you get, but that's far away. So, I don't know. Pretty interesting. No, I don't. I think the back doors were intentionally propped open for easy exit in case somebody was coming. They could just sprint out and not have to fumble with the doors. I don't think you only would need to leave one. Okay, I guess you could say, yeah, the back gate was open and then the back, I don't know. Yeah, sort of an interesting thought to think that maybe the guy, porch guy, went around and opened the gate and the back door. See, that wouldn't work though, because that's too risky for Nancy to wake up just opening that and then later the other person comes in. I think it's just sort of was left open to get out. Makes the most sense. If there was an emergency, like a cop car shows up. You just bolt out the back, jump over, bing, 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 and you're gone. Well, yeah, that's true, Simon. Like if she had lived, that's what we were saying. If she had lived, then they might be just looking for the abductor, which is all better anyways. It's like you're just looking for the abductor and trying to track him down and get the money back, and then arrest him. But she died, and then it turns it into a totally different thing. That means there's no incentive at all for the abductors to show where her body is, because then there's a huge like murder, maybe the death penalty. So it's just like, screw this. They're out of there. So I think the only way that they're going to find her is if somebody stumbles upon her or they catch him at some point. And that's it. All right. Well, thanks, everybody. Appreciate you guys being here. And have a great 4th of July tomorrow. I'm sure maybe we'll come on, I don't know, maybe come on in the evening or something. We'll see how it goes. I agree. Maybe if there was 2 people in a plea deal, they would say. You're right. I guess if they said, hey, yeah, right. A plea deal once they're caught is about the only way you're going to get them. And maybe it's a smart thing to do. You could put death on the table, but they probably wouldn't get death because, the FBI believed the ransom notes, and one of them, they say, hey, we didn't intend to do, You could make the argument. So you'd be able to play that and give them, like, life in prison for not having the death penalty. Perhaps. Anyways, thanks, everybody. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Kind of been a long day for me. We'll see you guys tomorrow, though, okay? Who the hell knows what tomorrow will bring? But I hope you guys are interested in the Tyler Robinson preliminary hearings that are coming up. It's like they have them booked for the whole week. So it's like there's 2 8-hour days and then a shorter day and then 2 longer days again, I think. I don't know. I think the first 2 days are like the main days and then a shorter third day and then there's 2 other days scheduled for whatever. I don't know what they're going to be doing. Maybe they're just available days, something like that. Anyways, thanks, everybody. We'll see you guys tomorrow. I think it's like 8 in the... I might come on here at 7:30 in the morning Pacific Standard Time. It starts at 9. So like 7:30 I can come on. I think it's Fox 13 that's the pool feed. All right. And Simon, I'm just flipping you crap out there, man. You're just one after the other firing stuff, but use the common sense, logic, and reason, man. You can do it. You'll find you're much happier when you're right there on the facts, not wildly speculating. It's great. It's good stuff. In that case, there's no conspiracy. There isn't a conspiracy, Brooke. That's why you don't understand it. There's zero conspiracy in the Tyler Robinson case. Now, just so you know, the Tyler Robinson case is, out of all the cases that I've covered since I've been doing true crime, which is like 10 years or more, 13 years, it's the strongest case I've ever seen. I mean, it isn't even close. It's just an absolute slam dunk, simple, but these nut job people on social media pretend that it's not, and they're lying to you. Tyler Robinson, they're just hoping to God. I mean, this preliminary hearing is going to work, and then he has to plea, I think, after the preliminary hearing. And see, that's when it's going to get interesting, because I don't think the state wants to do a plea deal with him. If he pleads guilty, I'm not sure how that works. He's going to get the death penalty, pleading guilty. But I don't know. It's pretty wild. You'd still want to have the truth put out there. I think if he pleads guilty, then what's weird is then the state and Erica Kirk are in a weird position. That's sort of interesting. I hadn't really thought of that. Because they would want at that point, you'd want to cut a deal and say life without parole, but you have to sit here and explain the whole damn thing, what you did, in a 2-day hearing. We're going to go over every single element here. That's what I wouldn't mind that. I would accept that. Okay? If they pled guilty, you guys, and then death isn't taken off the table, wouldn't you, and then he wouldn't say anything, right? Wouldn't you accept then life without parole? And he has to tell us everything that he did, because the key to this is that the public knows what happened. You get it? I think that's weird. I didn't think of that. The defense does have a little leverage there if they pled guilty, because then there's no answers given. It's just you pled guilty and that's it. There's no description, no explanation, nothing. And it might be, I don't know. I guess you could set it up if he's pleading guilty, he has to go through anyways and answer the question. I mean, why would he do that, though, with the death on the table? That's wild. Yeah. Yeah, no, he didn't. I'm not talking about Koberger, though. I was talking about Tyler Robinson. I hardly even think of that case anymore. It's weird. It was such a big part of what I was doing all the time, but there's nothing to talk about anymore in Koberger. It's just, he's done. I'm sure there'll be interesting stuff like a tell-all book or something. That might be interesting. Anyways, thanks everybody. See you guys later. Appreciate you being here. Talk to you tomorrow. Be safe out there. Well, you might need one. If he pleads guilty and death's still on the table, I'd rather have a plea deal where he has to answer questions for hours and hours and hours. I think Erica would too. And so would the people.
The truth is, you're as dumb as they come.
Don't you love that? Listen to that.
The truth is, you're as dumb as they come.
Koberger, you had to listen to that. That's hilarious.
Evil can never be dead enough. And some of you make shit up.
Good night, everybody. Oh, and thanks also to the coffee people, Timothy Cecil. And, thank you. And somebody else. Yeah, he's not going to do that, though. No, it doesn't. It doesn't, though, Jason. People want to have all the details of it. I know this case really well. That's not work. That wouldn't work. People would not be okay with that. Everybody would still claim this and this and this and this. He needs to sit there and answer all the questions if there's any kind of a deal at all. I would actually have like a 3-day hearing where he sits up on the stand and they go through each and every video that they have, all of the different text messages, and he has to sit there and discuss it and what he did and everything. Then it's on the record, and the conspiracy theories will die away from anybody that has just the slightest bit of rational thought. Anyways, thanks. Have a great 4th of July tomorrow. Be safe. I'm tired.